Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby and the 2016 Bash for Cash. Demo Derby Masters. Winter Slam 2016. Ultimate Derby and Blizzard Bash and Capital City Carnage. Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel at RecklessAbandonGear.com. And Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Shenandoah County Fair. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast coming to you live trackside from Shenandoah County here in Woodstock, Virginia. I had very high hopes for what we would be able to accomplish this evening. So we're going to press on as planned. Todd Height helping us on the camera. There's a good look at the field and what we've got so far. And a good look at David Lajoie hanging out here with us here trackside. And Ryan Ostrander are going to be helping me here on the mics through the course of the evening. What we have tonight is the first of two nights here at Shenandoah County Fair. And tonight is going to be the stock night. Some interesting card choices. Ryan Ostrander helping me here at the table. There's a good look at Ryan. And some interesting card choices, some stuff that we haven't seen run down here in a long, long time, but everything here, nonetheless, is remarkably clean. And as Todd Height was saying earlier, he thought that the K cars were completely extinct. We've seen like 15 of them already. But so, again, we're going to be bringing you everything here trackside. It looks like there's going to be two groups for the compacts. The 4s and the 6s is going to run together and then a feature for them. And then the big cars, it's looking like they're going to be doing two heats for those guys, a consi if they need it, and then a feature. So at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 events total going to be on the track. And this is an all-new facility here for Shenandoah County Fairgrounds. They've invested almost $1 million in renovating and raising the grounds. They have installed, as you can see where the cars were staged, that was the top half of a the top half where the cars are staged is 200 feet long. It's a total of a 400-foot long pulling arena, and we've cut that in half, put the blocks down, they packed the clay down, and we're now running where used to be the performance stage. The track used to be, when you look across the track, if you want to send it across so that we can see, all that stone dust is a brand new surface. They've banked the corners, and the cars used to come right up to where you can see the gentleman in the green shirt. You can see where the chain link fence is. That's pretty much where we podcasted from last year at Chaos in the Valley. The track used to come right up to that, but you can see they've raised the track surface. They've added all this clay on the infield, and it's thrown some of the drivers off. They don't quite know what to make of all of it at this point. You know, it's thrown them off of what their expectations are. Of course, tonight we're live in lieu of our studio episode of the Crash Course podcast. Tomorrow we're going to be right back here again. And by all means, feel free to message me directly with any questions about what you might be seeing. We'll try to keep up with everything. Penny Shipe and Jason Shipe, JPG Towing, providing a rollback for us to get up above dirt level. The top looks like it's a little wet, but underneath it, it's supposed to be insanely tightly packed. So I'm excited to see when they do the horsepower, and for the first time ever, rolling starts for all of them. They're going to be going in a circle. Ryan, you had a chance to walk around a little bit. You saw Sean Gokenauer's car. What do you think?
First shot, there's going to be green all over the track. It's a lot of Bono on the front nose of that.
Well, he typically runs green, but it isn't that shade of green. That's pretty bright.
Yeah, it's bright green. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen. The rolling start's going to be new for all these guys out here running tonight, and then the new track. This track looks a lot wider than the old one, so I don't think there's going to be hiding spots or anything. It's going to be a different driving style altogether. So for everybody.
So trying to make sure that we've got audio levels for everybody. Let's check and see. We got that one up and running. Doesn't seem like that one wants to cooperate at the moment. So let's try doing this real quick. We'll pull that down and swap lines. How about that? Have we got anything on that one? Still nothing yet. How about that? Anything closer there? There we go. Maybe we'll be able to hear Ryan a little bit better if we use the microphone set right there. Try that. This is the board.
They don't want to hear me anyways. They want to hear you.
Oh, I don't know if that's the case, but this board has been moody as all get out ever since it took its bath in Dunkirk. So we try to keep, these were the colors, the way that it was hooked up So we try to keep everything the same. There's the marker on the microphone, there's the marker on the cable, and there's a marker on that line. And it seems that at least most of the time that it wants to work when it's in that combination. But
It's funny how water and electronics work together.
it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Had an exciting ride down here through the course of the day. Well, it wasn't that exciting. Actually, it was boring us to tears. We were sitting still, 2 hour slowdown at the border between West Virginia and Virginia. So it was a little questionable whether we were even going to get in here on time to bring you the action here trackside. Nonetheless, here we are, made it on time. And this is one of the neatest vantage points that we've had, but I'm a little concerned because we are right next to the track.
Yeah, I think we're going to be ducking when that dirt gets flying out of the
Thankfully, we got David and Todd here, so they can stand in front of the expensive equipment and they can run blocker for us. But as I understand it, Mark Wolf is going to be doing the announcing work up in the crow's nest high above the track. He was doing this last year. If you have never had the chance to meet Mark, you've got to. He is such a character. And we saw a red Lumina, I believe that was what it was when it pulled in. I don't remember for sure. It was 52XX. You can see the red car just off behind you. That is his kid.
Okay.
Mark's kid's going to be driving that, and
is this the first run for him?
First. She's been in youth derbies before, but I don't think she's run by herself. So it'll be fun to watch as that one comes up. You can see the red roof sign just off in the distance there. In the compact division, it was either, I can't remember if it was a Cavalier. He told me what it was. He had a Lumina there that he was going to build, and then I think he had another one of the Aries or a Shadow or Horizon, something along those lines.
It's weird for me to see all these stock built cars down here from everybody that customers and friends down here. You know, they all run the Chaos show and stuff, and you see all these hard cars from that show to come down here to the same people, same area, and see them build stock. It'd be interesting to see how they do at a stock show. Guys like Sean, you know, he doesn't build stock ever.
Right.
So this one's going to be interesting to see. Learning curve for him.
So tomorrow we're going to see more of the modified cars. Tomorrow's going to be what you're more accustomed to. Larry Seeger checking in, says everything's looking good. You know, when we talked about what we are going to see, we are going to see the wagon back again. The wagon is the wagon that Sean Gokenauer had here at Chaos in the Valley here last October, that he drove so hard that he ripped the top of the fuel cell off.
Yes, well, he's got new fuel cells in that now. In fact, I think at least 3 of those cars, of the green ones that rolled in, all have that same fuel cell.
And you'll see the more traditional Sean Gokenauer green on, I anticipate anyway, tomorrow. We're going to be going back with Sean and catching up with him and his wife. I understand they're building a new house down here.
Yes, that's been an ongoing process for the summer, I guess.
Well, they just finished the new shop. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. They continue to change it. So
it must be the growing family or something, growing out of the house quick.
Yeah. The thing is he's got so many derby cars at his house that I think Mrs. Gokenauer wants him to find someplace else to keep them so she doesn't have to wake up in the morning and stare at twisted
Well, when
metal.
you've got access to honey holes like some of these guys do down here of cars.
No more. None of that. We have to shut you off right there. No more talking that stuff.
They're pretty rough, though. I expected cleaner cars from some of the old iron, but there's some of them that are rougher than I would expect seeing. But maybe because it's a soccer show,
they're using this stuff that they don't have any use for otherwise.
Yep.
And I like Jason's logic. Jason Scheip with JPG Towing, who's overseeing this. He said that this makes perfect sense to him. And you run the stock stuff the first night. If something dumb happens, you can weld it back together. Or if something really bad happens, you wad the car up, pull it down, and weld it up anyway. So running the stock stuff the first night. See, years ago, when this fair used to draw, and you can insert this sentence to any number of county fairs all over the United States. When this fair used to draw 150 cars a night, the first night was always for Shenandoah County residents only. If you lived in the county, you could run. Otherwise, sit in the stands and watch. Mm-hmm. The second night was for leftover cars from Monday and people from outside the county.
Yep.
Car counts dwindled. They've done some changes here, and Jason's really done a lot to breathe new life into the fair. Last year, he went completely off script. Typically, they ran a 4-cylinder championship, a 6-cylinder championship, and then heats and feature for the full-size cars. Last year, I think they had 8-10 full-size cars on Tuesday, but they had almost 30 small cars. So he broke them down into 2 qualifying heats. All the 4s ran together, all the 6s ran together. They pooled all the purse money, and they paid out 1 purse back through like the top 5 or something like that, and ran heats and features for the compacts and ran a one and done with the big cars. The fans loved it. The compact guys thought it was the greatest thing ever because they finally got some recognition. They got, it was a co-main event instead of 2 preliminary heats to the features, and it did a lot of good things for the fair down here, and they adapted a little bit more of what they do with Chaos in the Valley in terms of their event structure, and really starting to gain some more momentum here. We're going to be talking a little bit with Justin Smith a little later on, probably around 9:30 here local time. We're about 20 minutes away from the planned start here. He was at the Page County Fair where Billy Orndorff, his win streak was broken. Billy Orndorff didn't win, and he still had some car left. He had a GM, and he was told that he has to put the stock rear end back into that car. He can't run the 3/4 ton rear end to come and run here on stock night. Now, he might leave it there and weld it up and bring it tomorrow. Billy Orndorff won last year here, ran the table, actually, for both nights, and that was celebrating his 40th year of Derby. So, obviously, he's going to want to come back into this championship. I've seen him win a lot of stuff down here in Shenandoah County, but there's a long list of drivers waiting to get a piece of that action as well. Mark Wolf, he's got a car. I'll show you the pictures of it. I can't show them yet because who knows, maybe somebody will decide to stuff a K-frame inside a Crown Vic overnight, because, you can do that.
Yeah, straight axles, all that
stuff. He's
stuff.
got some crazy stuff coming tomorrow. So it's going to be a fun couple nights down here, and I'm glad some of you guys had the chance to come along with us, and we're going to be down here again. Even if it means detuning things the way that we did tonight, the same way for Chaos in the Valley. Right now, it looks like everything is holding stable.
Awesome.
Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, and you know what's going to happen. As I just said, everything is holding stable, and it just flashed at me, and I thought for sure that was the beginning of the end. We're going to bring the first heat out, and everything's going to go right to the floor.
Everybody's going to be on their phones.
But so I mean, what do you think so far out of what you've seen so?
Well, how can you complain? Everywhere you look, you see these beautiful mountains, and it's just beautiful out here. It's starting to fill the grandstands now, and
they opened it.
Nice.
See, they don't. You know how like some of these fairs that we go to, they open the grandstands 4 hours before the Derby starts, and everybody's in the grandstands shouting and screaming, "Let's go, get it moving, come on!" They open it a half hour before the show's supposed to
that's
start.
a good idea. I mean, it keeps people from getting antsy in their seat.
And they sell pre-sale tickets. So you have to basically go through eTix or Ticketmaster or something to get a ticket for the show tonight, and then you have to buy a second one tomorrow. And at one point they had assigned seats. They had different sections. Like you could buy a ground seat section if you could swing it around for us so you can see the new grandstands that are situated on what used to be track in and track out. There's the first batch of grandstands right there behind the excavator. And then if you tip the nose of that camera up just a little bit so you can see the whole grandstand, we'll kind of point out to everybody what we're looking at. There we go. So out to the wing where we just panned across, there's 2 new temporary grandstand seating. That used to be pretty much where the excavator was when they had the stage. They pulled the stage out, and then all this concrete area that's here in the front that you see where the green shirts and stuff are sitting, that was quarantined off. They were so close to the track they wouldn't let anybody down there, and that's where the firefighters set up. Now they've opened that up to seating, and they've opened up these wings down here trackside. So it's kind of a neat setup, and they've certainly opened it up where they can welcome more fans to see it from the same side of the track. And they should have probably brought some blankets or something to cover from the mud because they're getting dirty tonight.
I wonder how many drivers that plan on running Chaos in October are here knowing about this new track, are going to watch and kind of get a game plan on this new track, kind of see how they got to change their style or how cars are packing in on these tracks.
This track is we started to talk about the track. It's a pulling arena is what the game plan was when they built this, and then they multi-purposed it by quarantining off the track. The track is about the same size as what it used to be. They've double stacked the concrete blocks, so there's still a chance somebody's going to go up and over them, but I don't think they're going to knock any of them over.
Right.
It's 200 by 80.
Yeah.
It's big.
It is big.
And we're going to have, I mean, if you look at the way some of these heats are stacked up, we might only have 4 and 5 cars on the track for the big cars. It looks like we're going to have about, maybe 8 on the track with the compacts. To build on the question that you just asked about Chaos in the Valley drivers, tomorrow I'd probably be more inclined to agree with you. Tonight, I think you've got a lot of drivers that are in the stands waiting to see what stock actually meant, because it's the first time for this rule book. It's the first time for these inspectors going through cars that are this detuned. Jason Scheip, this is I think he said this is his 4th Derby in 5 nights. So his crew's getting wore out,
right?
But they're holding true to it. I think that's Jason Koch right there. Maybe not, with the sunglasses, the brown shirt with his back to us.
I can't tell.
He's leaning on the Kibler car.
I see him. I just can't tell if it's him or not.
Gary Wayne Shipe, he's got the '09 car. We saw him come out of a car in an ambulance last year here. We saw a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, where Josh Wilkins broke his foot in a cardiac arrest car. So, I mean, they are notoriously hard drivers, but the element where you've got the hard fixed wall with all the dirt and everything behind it is gone.
Is Josh here tonight? I didn't even see
I
his.
haven't seen it yet.
I'm not sure.
Wilkins,
But
you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
but this is just nice to get out of town to come down here and catch
The better way to
something.
spend
It's
a
it's
Monday
awesome
and
just to
Tuesday.
see something different. I mean, puts a little pressure on getting work done this week, but it's definitely worth it. I'm
You're
all for
down
it.
here. You're down here spending a little bit of FaceTime with a lot of guys that bought
Exactly.
parts. Though. I mean, that's
Exactly.
kind of just as important as getting
Yeah.
your orders done.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Plus, you don't have your stuff anyway. You're
Yeah.
waiting on piles of stuff to come in. So
Yeah, it's
What are
true.
you gonna do? Just go in there and talk to your welder?
We have good conversations.
Coax in the burn a little cleaner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in the last couple of years, you've sent a lot of coolers and tanks and stuff down to this area, particularly
Yep,
the,
and,
the
all in
the
this-
Kaufmantown Road.
In
crew.
this, yeah, exactly. In this very small, in this community. It's cool to walk in here and the guys with us say something first thing and say, oh, look at. So it's pretty neat to see parts out here.
Hang on just 1 second.
Yep. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, it definitely gets your attention. Anytime you hear something, rev up. Oh, that'd be important. I think I pocket dialed like 10 people while we were setting up. About
Brief
10 more
intermission.
minutes will be gone. Yeah.
Brief intermission there while we went and got lineups, so that way we know who's who. We can give you a little bit of information on what we're working with. I am turning on my internet momentarily. If it starts breaking up, that's why. This is Todd. Todd.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
This is Corey.
And
The guy that opened the door that gets down.
okay.
Way back when. All right. I'm almost back with everybody. Let me just finish up one more thing, get our lineup set so that we can press on, and we'll be right with you. Okay, so we got all of our lineups here. We're going to have 2 heats of the full-size cars. Dylan Lockwood's going to be out there with Ronnie Hinkle. Ronnie Hinkle jumping into a big car. Cody Sumpton is going to be out there as well. Chad Palmer, Daniel Judy, Brian Davis, John Patton. It's going to be a pretty good first heat. Johnny Patton, we've seen Jonathan Patton. We've seen him do very well down here in years past. The other Patton, John Patton, driving car number 40, he's going to be out in heat number 2, and there's our identification. Mercury Cougar is what that is. Brian Sylvia is going to be in a big car as well in the 1121. Sean Gokenauer drew heat number 2 along with Jay Burney, Danny Manning, and Kevin Jones. The Shane Hammond car did not get completed. They put a ton of time in on that one, but it didn't come together. We've got Ian Murno signed in, Sean Kibler, Brandon Kibler. Watch those two in the 6-cylinder heat. The Kibler cars are going to be a factor in the outcome of this one, I guarantee it. Sue Doval, Tyler Woods, James Heinz Jr., and Leo Santaya is going to be out there as well. And just to give you a name on the 4-cylinder drivers, this was the low stack field. We were talking about Gary Wayne Shipe a little bit ago. We've got Dalton Dillman, Jeff Mitchell, Jimmy Pitcock is back this year. He's from Tom's Brook. He's in the 425. That's one of the several Chryslers that are out there. Josh Eaton, Steve Huffman, Kristen Wolf, that's Mark's daughter in the 52XX, Travis Wood, Brandon Silvius, watch him, he's going to be another weapon, and Darren Williams as well. Not sure if they're going to elect to split the 4 cylinders and run 3 total heats, or if they're going to just run them all together. I would think they're going to run them all together, but it's hard to say. Sun's going down, and I already feel the temperature change here.
There's definitely a lot of room on the track to pack the cars in. They normally try to pack this in as much as possible, or are they...
What do you mean? Like, are you
packing heats?
No, they're not shy about it. I mean, usually, like I said, in years past, the 4 cylinders up until last year were run as one and done, and the 6 cylinders were run as one and done. There was no feature. So this year, with a couple twists and changes, they've discussed a couple different options with the stock cars. There's also the concern that if they don't let them build them heavier, that they're not going to endure a heat and a feature. So official word still sort of to be shared, but. Either way, it's going to be fast, and there's going to be stuff jumped. I thought you were asking about in terms of packing the track in. In years past, when this was up on that part of the track, up on the front stretch portion, they couldn't. Everything was pretty much fixed because they had all the stone dust they would scrape off the track piled in behind to hold the barriers. So the width was the width. If there was 4 cars out there, if there was 45, the width was the width. Yeah. And they're kind of in a situation where they can't do a whole lot with this one unless they want to invest the time on showing all these blocks in. But this fan base is accustomed to, if there's 4 or there's 45, you have 200 feet to work with. I don't think they're going to shortchange on that.
Which makes it a cool factor of this track.
There was discussion that they would try to do the stock heats with a suicide start, where everybody's nosed in or nosed out on opposite ends of the track, and they just go full tilt and they meet in the middle.
I don't think there'll be any cars left after that tonight.
I mean, they pull the trigger. Whoever pulled away qualified. I mean, that's pretty much the way it would work out. So now they've elected to do the cyclone start, Utah style,
which would be cool.
Rolling.
And the fun part of that is that there's been a few of those up by us up in New York at home this last year, and it'd be kind of cool to see. It's a new game for everybody, you know. It's a new style of doing it, so it kind of throws everybody off from the start.
Just like that. I'm kind of watching the clock. We're about 5 minutes away from the projected start. I know our announcer has already begun making his way upstairs. Mark Wolf again manning the microphone this year. Looks like they got a couple folks up there hanging out with him, and we're going to be getting this thing underway here pretty quick. All the cars already through inspection. A couple of the cars made it through on the first try. One of the rules in the rule book, just like you see everywhere, was if you have to ask, you can't do it, and you shouldn't be asking.
Leave it alone.
Leave it be. And with the looks of things, if you want to get over there and take pictures and stuff, go ahead. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's
You're fine.
while we were here, it looked like most made it through without too much effort of having to fix anything. And
A couple guys made it through on the first try.
yeah,
I don't know how they pulled that off. It never happens here. Well, the cars tomorrow probably won't be so fortunate.
no.
Happy anniversary to Brandon Tyson and Sam, a couple of our friends from out in Iowa. And I saw Brian Horsley out in Ohio has a birthday today. Good catch with those guys. Johnstown, PA, Robbie Lucas, Renee Osmond. Down in North Carolina, Kyle Duds, as in Milk Duds. Thank you for in Arizona. And Joey and Shannon said that it's blurry on the TV screen. It might be. We're doing the best we can with what we got. It's entirely possible that it's going to be a little bit fuzzy given the way that we had to adjust the resolutions here. So I apologize as best we can. It's the best that we got.
New factor for you too.
A little,
You know,
yeah. I mean, this
because
was
usually have-
definitely a curveball when we got down here. So I had to pull a lot out of this. We're only a little bit slower than
Yeah.
what we do when we actually for that matter earlier this week when we were in New Alex, Pennsylvania, just a little bit slower, so that quality shouldn't have changed a whole lot. But you know, we're like I was telling you in the car, we're down here to make chicken salad. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell what happens between point A and point B from one part of the country to another.
At one point, I had my cell phone side by side with our hotspot, and I had 3 bars on my phone and 1 bar on my hotspot, and they were right next to each other.
What are you gonna do? Try to make it work the best you can.
Best we got. So by all means, if what have we got here? Porter Raider sharing some pictures. What have we got?
98 Honda Civic I ran at Leesburg, Slater Roberts.
Yeah, looks pretty good there. What happened to it?
I got second place.
It doesn't have any dents in it.
No, this before. This is the after picture.
There's nothing left.
Oh yeah, she's gone.
Yeah. This is what the back end looked like afterwards. Pretty much, the speaker deck was a couple inches away from the seat.
That's crazy.
About to get into feature. Starting out, Leesburg and Loudoun County, Slater Roberts Derby. It is a driver's derby. It is something that is really meant for experienced drivers. Everybody there who shows up, they are a premier compact driver on the East Coast. I mean, you got names like Brian Jennings, Matt Davidson, Josh Wilkins, a couple of guys who ran back for cash compacts this year. Those guys are all incredible drivers. Danny Manning. I can go on and on. It's a fairly small track, but it's dry. You get traction and you go. And of course, Slater Roberts always runs a great show. There's no sandbagging involved in this track. I started off. I haven't driven in 5 years, and
I think the last time I remember seeing you in a car, you had that black wagon where you hit so hard the section of frame fell out, but the body never moved.
yes, the black wagon actually ran here at Shenandoah County Fairgrounds 5 years ago. Lead 80's GM wagon. That was a hard-hitting show. Coming off of the heat, my carburetor was set a little bit too low on the idle, and every hit I made, it shut off. And then finally, once the engine got warmer and the heat transferred up to the carburetor bowl, it stayed running on every hit. And by that point, I was just ticked off beyond belief, and every hit I made was a full track shot as far as the frame wheel snapped off, broke in half, right behind the leaf springs, which I've never seen on an EDG wagon before.
But the interesting talking point was that the body didn't move when it happened.
No, the body did not move much at all. I spent an incredible amount of time body greasing that car. The body was fully seam molded. Nationwide doesn't care about that. The body was fully seam molded. It was creased to the utmost. That was the only thing that actually saved that car. 80s GMX had incredibly strong bodies. That was a really, really good show, which I'm glad to have been a part of. As far as the Loudoun County event, my work, the tire shop in Leesburg, Virginia, they sponsored me with everything. My friend Danny Manning, who also works there, he's driving here tonight in the Grand Marquis, 80s Grand Marquis in the stock class. We both work there, and our bosses love their cars. They're all into that. Danny Manning got in the Cavalier for Loudoun County. My boss saw it and said, "Oh no, you're driving too." So, "You want to drive in this Derby?" I said, "Well, yeah." "All right, give us 2 hours. We'll have a car for you." They came back 30 minutes later and said, "We got a 98 Honda Civic for you." "All right, strip it out." They paid me at work to strip it out.
Can't beat
And
that.
we had 3 guys from our work with cars, and they paid me on the clock to work and build this out. It was fantastic. I didn't expect to do this Derby, and somehow won the heat and somehow got second. Slater Roberts, of course, rules as far as front bumper goes. You can't blow anything on. The front bumper got ripped off halfway through my heat, and the guy got a good corner shot. He came in on my driver's side and got the corner of the bumper and ripped the bumper shot clean through the frame rails where I bolted it through. And I said, "Oh my goodness." I looked around and just a bumper lane on the track halfway through, so I had to really drive incredibly smart in my back end and preserve my front end for the feature. Got out of the heat. Danny Manning got stuck. His front bumper was cord support deep into another car. And I looked around. I was like, "Where's Danny? Where's Danny?" And look, he's halfway through the hood of some other car. And
When was the last time Danny drove before that? When was the last time Danny drove before that?
I think 3 years before that. He drove a full-size Grand Marquis. He has a tendency for driving Grand Marquis. I don't know why. That we had leaved and tilted for Shenandoah County here also. It was one of the first cars that showed up in Shenandoah County with a distributor protector tied into the dash bar. We didn't have a cradle, nothing to it to the trainer protector, and it really showed off how strong a 79 Marquis can be tied in. He ended up actually ripping his motor mounts clean from the frame, and the starter hit the engine cradle and he got knocked off. It was a great run for him on that. I was very proud of him for that. But I do recommend to everybody that they come up to Loudoun County, Leesburg, Virginia for Slater Roberts. It is a premier compact event, and it's fantastic driving. I've never had to drive so smart and so hard in my life to actually pull out what I did. It's like a second place win. It came down to it. I was just done. My front end with no front bumper, obviously. The cord support was shoved back in. I was hitting with the exhaust by the end of it. And train line got knocked loose, and I was peaking train fluid out the front. I'm sitting there at the corner, and I realized that I'm losing all gears, and I make one more tap at the end. And I've got a Toyota Camry 20 feet behind me. This thing has barely even bent in the front end, and he is sitting there revving his engine, waiting. If I move an inch, he is going to lay me out flat. So I kind of gently pull my flag down. I said, "I'm done. I can't move, and I don't want to get railed at this point."
We saw a finish similar to that last night. No, what night is it? Today's Monday. So Saturday night in the compacts at the Hartford Fair. Guy Raymond coming away with the win. Guy Raymond, who doesn't typically travel, he kind of stays within a 45-minute radius of his house. He'd never been to Hartford Fair before. And it came down to him and Sheldon Whitman. And Sheldon was a hammer all night long, going end to end, just blasting everything that he could come in contact with. But Guy, he was far more patient with his shot selection. He drove hard, take nothing away from him. He didn't sandbag it by any means. But he was more patient with his shot selection. And it ended up where he got to the backside of Sheldon's car, and he had a Honda Civic, just like you're describing. And he had a nice bumper on the front of it, and Sheldon was laboring bad, couldn't move, and he unloaded about 3 times at the finish, and Sheldon was able to refire, and he did it two more times, and he was ready to go one more time, but the bumper had bent at 90 degrees. The bumper stuck out quite a ways from the core support, and it had bent 90 degrees and started shoving back in. It pushed back into the radiator, so he was losing water and he was steaming. Not fast, it was a slow leak, but still he was steaming. He's losing water. But he was able to ride it out, and then Sheldon couldn't get it refired, and he was counted out because Sheldon will not take a stick down. Will not.
No.
He could be covered in transmission fluid, engine on fire, and he won't take the stick down. But he was counted out, and Guy Raymond came up with a win similar to what you just described there. But he was on the first place side.
I definitely have a brand new respect for Honda Civics after this Derby. I never considered running anything other than a GM or Ford Compact. It was my first import I've ever ran in my life, and my car steamed, all night long in the feature, and it never shut off. And I only shut it off when I was doing about 8,000 RPM. My car wouldn't move after losing all transmission gears. And all power to Honda Civics. Those things will run all night long.
What
I
year?
was really impressed with that car.
What year did you say that was?
So,
98, right?
98 Honda
Okay.
Civic. Yes.
Yep.
We'll talk a little bit with Chad Kingry up here before we got going. Chad doesn't have a car here. He poked a hole at some point. He told me where, and I'm blanking on where he did it. He put a hole in the oil pan of his
new
guard motor
Yeah,
and ran it for 8 minutes with no oil.
and it's still good. He
and
put it back
it's
together.
still good.
Yep.
It didn't come apart. That guard motor, he said it was singing. It melted down. It melted down pretty much everything internally.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I mean,
I think
bearings wise, but they put new bearings in it. And the motor runs great. Never missed a beat once they got the thing put back together, and it's back in the car sitting. So maybe we'll see that motor run tomorrow. I don't know.
Yep.
I know.
Kind of hinted towards that, or Chaos possibly one of the two. So
If he's here, he's going to be here to make junk.
Yep.
That's what he shows up for. You know Chad.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Is he one of the? Are you related to him?
To who?
Chad Kingry.
Yeah. No, I'm not related to him.
So he's one of like the 3 drivers here that you're not related to.
Pretty much. Pretty much. When it comes to Shenandoah County, of course, my cousins, friends, everybody here, we all grew up together and all derby together. That's how we grew up, was watching the local derby car back when it was on the track. It's the first year, of course, that it has been moved. This is a new track. It's all the way from the grandstands. It's going to be incredibly interesting to see how the derby plays out tonight. Nobody really knows what to expect as far as how it's going to go, as far as the heating's going to go. The track's going to stay dry or just be snotty if you water it down. We don't know. We don't know how the crowd's going to react to. It's been a big issue with a lot of residents in Shenandoah County, actually. The derby here has been a big thing for the past, I think, 40 years, if not longer than that. It's always been on the track, so we're going to wait to see how this plays out tonight as far as everybody's reactions to it.
It's going to be fun. I mean, obviously, we broke from tradition. This is the 99th year for the Shenandoah County Fair, so excited to be down here as part of this. We're going to be back down here again tomorrow for the second night, which is going to be the modified night, so to say. Limited weld cars, a little bit more done to them. And then we'll be back down here again at the end of October for Chaos in the Valley, which has come to have a pretty good reputation. Jason Koch winning the weld division each of the last 2 years, so third edition of it this year. Thanks a lot to E2 Demolition Sliders for helping us out with internet connections, Stern Dirt Racing, and we're going to be back out there the 1st of October for that show. Trying to keep track of every place that we got to go coming up in the coming weeks. As we see the first car pulling out onto the track, we'll be out there with Stern Dirt Racing at Halloween Havoc. The same weekend is Ultimate Derby's Battleground Show indoors in Louisville, Kentucky. And then we're going to be out there for Blizzard Bash as well. Smashing Demolition Derbies, they've got a very busy schedule. They're coming to the close of their season here about the middle of next month. But nonetheless, as we see one of the first cars pulling out onto the track,
it's definitely hard.
it's trying to determine what they have to do with the track surface right now. So they sent Dylan Lockwood out there to drive around just to see exactly how slimy, hard, what needs to be done. And I tell you what, I think we got a good thumbs up there on what that track is going to be. Ryan, what do you think? Do you think
It's
they
a
should wet
tight
that down
track.
a little
No,
more?
I think it's perfect right where it's at. It's still got a little water on the top. It's holding it, but it's a tight track still. It's got good bite.
Yeah, Shenandoah County's got a reputation for the geography locally to have a lot of clay into it. Well, it's really, you can put water on top of it, it just stays
Yep.
knotty on the top. Page County is very similar in that aspect. We watched Page County the last 2 nights, and Page County is a great show. It's run by Jason Taylor locally.
Yep.
And he's a long-time derby for about 2 decades plus, and he knows what he's doing. And
Yeah, they said this was a topsoil clay mix. It's a nice mix too.
yeah, it's a nice kind of like sandy brown dirt mix.
Yep. But it packs
And
nice.
it usually does hold water very well. on the track here, it used to be bluestone, really hard packed clay bottom with a tight bluestone top. And you could water that thing down all night long between every heat, and you would still get incredible traction. By the end of it, the water would mix and to form almost like concrete on your car when all the debris dried up. So it's a really fantastic surface. And this is the first year that any one of us had driven on this surface in about, well, ever, actually. So we're all really anticipating what's going on. We don't know. It's really kind of exciting. It's a huge change for us. So we're going to see what happens tonight. And with his run on the track here earlier, he looked like he was going pretty good. Got good traction. I think the dirt is soaking up a lot of water and drying off really quickly. It's hot out here a little bit, but it's cooling off very nicely. So we're going to see what happens with that. Should be a fast track.
You know, I'm talking a little bit about the surface itself and the fact that it's this weird mix of clay and dirt. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that's probably going to be able to hold a little bit of water, just with the clay's willingness to soak stuff up. So we're going to have to kind of track that, see what we get through the course of the night. And obviously, like you said, it is a change for everybody. So the residents, they weren't really down with moving the Derby down away from the cinder track?
No, absolutely not. That was not a Derby car driver decision. That was a fair board decision. Outsiders came in and decided to convert the track full time to a harness racetrack, completely free of all debris, so as not to harm the horses, which is entirely understandable. It's going to be a huge money thing for this fairground. Again, that's wherein lies most of the issues is money. So we're all just trying to take it as best as we can.
I think it's a great move. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a great move. Moving this thing down off of the track, the renovations that they've done here are awesome. And
They
this
are.
Pit,
They really
this
are. It's
pit
great.
that you've got to work with right now, I don't think you're gonna. I remember that concrete stuff. I used to have to pick it out of camera lenses. I mean, it did not come out. Once the water mixed with that stone dust, it got so hard.
No, you had a handbrake.
You had to chisel it off the camera lenses, but this isn't going to do that. I don't think this is going to do that at all.
I am curious on the fan response. You know, they're used to being right on top of the Derby, right in their face, you know, with the grandstands, and now being 50 feet away. But with the see what this new track brings, if it's more exciting to watch, you know, they might not even care. But
yeah, it's a good change. That was one of the draws of the track. Was what the track is right now. It used to be the stage, and the track would literally be right up where the people were. I mean, the crowd was literally right on top of the action. If you were sitting in the front rows, you were about 10 feet from it, and the track was sunken down into a pit, and you were able to get right up into the action. I mean, it was up close. I mean, cars would come up on the wall sometimes, and when you were on the stage, you could feel the cars hitting the wall. The entire stage, you know, and the grandstands too would rumble with the hits. It provided that extra touch, that extra sense of you were a part of the Derby. You would get sprayed with mud and dirt, and that was what made this a special track on the East Coast. So, you know, again, it's going to be a huge change for the crowds. You know, had that extra sense of being in touch with the Derby, having it this far away from the track. But it does seem like the action's going to be faster and harder, so it may make for a better show. I think if they can get their seating worked out a little bit better, maybe provide some seating on the track next year, that might help involve the crowd some more.
And you never know with this new track, it might open a door for other shows.
It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But, you know, we're going to wait and see what the reaction is and what the word is around county over the next year as far as that goes.
Some folks checking in from home. We have David Sims, Mike Carey's watching, JC Molly down in Florida. David Sims is watching right now from Poole, Dorset over in the United Kingdom. So he's been tuning in a lot lately. He's excited to see what this place is all about because he hasn't seen Virginia style yet over there, and he's going to be excited. And if you like tonight, again, check it out again tomorrow because we're going to be back here and doing it one more time with a little bit heavier build. How much rollover do you think we're going to see? Are we going to see some of these guys take these home, weld on them all day tomorrow, and bring them back?
Absolutely, I do think that we're going to see if there's anything left over, which honestly, I actually highly doubt we're going to see much left over after tonight. But some of these guys do have full weld cars ready to go for tomorrow night. I know Sean and Shane both are bringing full weld cars, as far as I know. I think Sean still had to do some work to his car, so his is a question mark. Shane Hammond has run the same car, full ball car, for about the last 3 years.
That was his Bash for Cash car from years ago, right?
No, similar. He tended to bring 70s Fords everywhere he goes. He's had this one that he's run solely at Shenandoah County lately. And basically, with the frame is bent, he's putting another plate on it. And it bends in front of that and behind that, one more plate. It might as well be a semi-outlaw car at this point with a stock body.
Which one?
Shane Hammond,
Yeah.
number 75. I'm not sure if he's driving tonight.
I don't think he made it.
He was thrashing on his caddy lately. He was going to bring a 76 caddy here with a 460 drop.
I think they said something about carb issues or something like that. They've been working on, or I'm not 100% sure on that, but they were having some issues.
On the full ball car or the caddy?
And the caddy.
On the caddy, Shane tends to do his builds last minute. That is
I think
where
that's
he
a Derby
performs
tradition.
the best. Shane is very much like me in that aspect where we perform best under pressure, and he was just too busy helping everybody else.
Yeah.
Is what he was doing. Shane, he's a huge help to everybody else in the local shop, and Shane put his car last, and he tends to do that every year. He puts his car last and helps everybody else first and get their cars done. This year, it bit him in the butt, and he finally was not able to get a car done in time, apparently, which is a shame, because that 76 caddy was clean in all the right places, and he would have put on a good show.
You'd always take the welder to it and bring it back tomorrow. Has he got something for tomorrow too?
I believe so, yes. Shane is breaking that 70s LTD.
Okay. All right.
From last year.
It's a 70s Grand Marquis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wedged in the back end. It's been torn up, but it's going to be a good, solid car.
And Sean is bringing his.
Sean
his back.
should be bringing his Pro Mod 64 Galaxy wagon with an 03 front stub, Imperial K member welded in, the works.
Yeah, I think all he has left is I think he had the rule change after last year. They changed it so that if you run leaf springs in the front, which is awesome.
Yes.
If you run leaf springs in the front, you have to run a solid axle.
Yes,
so I think
yes,
he's got to
yes.
do that swap still.
Run a straight axle.
Yep.
Sean's got good leaf springs, and they made him cut leaf springs off the front last year.
Yep.
I think especially he said, how much do you like your leaf springs in front? And Sean said, what do you mean? I'm like, well, either you're cutting your leaf springs in half the pack is going to get cut loose, or you're not running. So Sean went ahead and cut half of his leaf pack loose, and he still ran, and he still trashed the lead to hit his GM wagon in one hit with his front end. That was an incredible shot to watch right off the line. That was also the same heat where shortly thereafter Sean and Shane both had issues with their cars where Shane stopped and waited, and he said he had fuel all over the inside of his car. And then Sean looked around and he noticed that he had fuel all over the inside of his car also. And these guys both won alcohol. They both won alcohol motors.
Yeah.
And their fuel tanks had actually split
Right at the
along
weld
all
seam.
the seams. The only guess I can say to that is the car is so hard that all the stress transferred to the softest part of the car, which is the fuel tank. And he had Catskill Fabrication.
That's him.
Your Catskill Fabrication. Well, there we go. Well, nice to meet you. You built great fuel tanks.
Thank you.
Fantastic fuel tanks.
Yeah.
But they had Catskill Fabrication right here building fuel tanks out of stainless steel, fully baffled, braces in all the corners, so they should not have to problem again.
You know, the ironic part of that is that they both ran those fuel cells for like 4 seasons,
Yes.
and they both split the same show within minutes of each other.
Within probably the exact same time, within 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, because they hit each other.
I tell you what, every time I hit Shane, my car gets destroyed, but so does his car. But every time Shane and I hit, it is just an incredible rocking experience. My helmet hit the roof, and my Leaf GMX and hit his 70s Ford. My frame broke in half, and his lead pack broke clean in half.
Wow.
On that hit, and my helmet hit the roof. My back hurt for weeks afterwards. Me and Shane have a healthy respect for each other on the track.
That happened to Todd one time. Our cameraman tonight, Todd, he hit a guy back to back one time.
Oh man.
He wasn't injured
He's
or
cringing
anything.
right
he
now.
He wasn't
remembers.
injured at all. I thought he was out in his seat. He took a nap. I'm telling you right now. He took a 30-second nap in the cockpit. He was like, "No, I never lost consciousness." Here's the thing about getting knocked out. You usually don't remember what happened.
Oh man, it was that same evening.
Funny how that works.
It was that same evening that Mark Wolf ran his blower caddy.
Yep. That was the first year I was down here.
That was a fantastic build right there. Me and Mark Wolf worked together over the summer to build that 71 caddy, two-door. And I bought the car, and Mark bought the drivetrain in that car. And me and Mark stayed away from each other for most of the heat. And it came down to it, and Mark track shots me on my left rear tire and spun me around almost 180 degrees. He knocked me out for a few seconds because I was looking at one of the track, and next thing I know, I'm looking at the opposite end of the track, and I was seeing butterflies and burrs all over in front of me. I shook my head, and by that time, the officials were waving the flags. All right, red flag, stop. And I'm waving my hands. I'm going, no, I'm okay. No,
And they think you're
don't
waving
come out
off.
and help me. I mean, I was knocked out for a second there, and oh no, that was it. The heat was over, and I'd won.
Ryan, you remember Blizzard Bash when Jimmy Johnson got knocked out? Woke up and just grabbed drive. You remember that? It was like 2013.
Veteran right there.
Yeah. Josh Wilkins?
Yes.
Yes, Josh is a great local driver around here. He has derby for years and years.
Broke his foot. Was it last year at the fair that he broke his foot?
Oh yeah, he had the Monte Carlo here last year. That was a great build.
He had a good. Oh.
Get up.
Anthem never gets old.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, once again, the Shenandoah County Fair here in Woodstock, Virginia. We've got Corey Rader hanging out here with us at the table. Ryan Ostrander also joining us here for the coverage to the course of this evening. First qualifying heat. You see him getting ready to pull out right now. The number 146 in the 1992 Crown Victoria is Dylan Lockwood. He was in the 146. Behind him, the number 355. That's Chad Palmer. Chad from Royal Virginia. 93 Caprice wagon. Ronnie Hinkle's going to be the number 6. That is the Bubba Lincoln pulling out next. He's in a 95 Lincoln from Edinburgh. Chad Palmer is it's Cody.
Got so much dirt on the screen I can't read it. Cody Sumpton is in the number 20S. Chad Palmer is in the 355. We talked about him a minute ago. Daniel Judy from Edinburgh in the number 7. Brian Davis in the number 16. John Patton going to round him out in the number 37. Has another Lincoln.
The silver one this time. Indeed,
And a
watching
metric Bonnie. You don't see too many of them run.
There was one of those at Hartford on Saturday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd he do?
He did all right. There was one of those I saw back in 2011. I saw one of those run at Delaware County Fair in Walton, New York.
Yeah.
And we also saw one in the mod class, the Elite Modified, the Capital City Carnage in Topeka. It basically had Gravedigger tires on the back end. It was huge in the back, but it did okay. So again, rolling start is the game plan for qualifying heat number 1. We will probably be running it down to our last 3. They might do 4. And already got the track really spread out. Look at the 37 laying right over on that left front tire. Green flag is out. Let's see who can be the first to cut across. There he goes. Timed it perfect. Johnny Patton, good shot. on number 20. Dodge. Yeah, zoom it in. Watch the number 146. He's got a head full of steam, and he's going to hit square on the number.
Nice.
Definitely a solid shot right here.
Todd,
There we go.
pull it this way to zoom in. There's a stick that slides left and right on top. Pull it to the side to zoom in. Excellent.
Jonathan Pat, it's a great look for the driver. He's getting hammered a few times right here. He and Jonathan have taken on the check a few times. He's always been very smart, very hard. He's watched Shenandoah County before. It's always been a great time watching him. Right here we got Ronnie Hinkle hung up on the 18 GM right here. Ronnie Hinkle, the double Lincoln. He does right here. He's a very hard driver. Always gets very hard, very good driver.
Jack Clemson way up in the air, and they're number 20 SS. Patton in a 37. Backs it up, has a full head of steam now. Red flag is flying. Bumper on the track, trying to get everybody woed down. Whistle's not quite cutting it right now. Trying to get it woed down. Again, there we go. Jonathan, buddy, it's time to stop. There we go.
A lot of Fords out here in this heat, but it's interesting to see a little bit of variation in the build play within the rules. You know, a couple cars are set up a little different.
Yeah, this could be a big issue right here. Bumper can be welded on, but shocks cannot be welded at all.
Yeah.
You need one bumper to the shock. Everything else must bolt on in stock fashion somehow. So it'd be interesting to see how the bumpers clean the track tonight.
Hinkle down there at the front of the track. That's the green Lincoln. He's trying to get it back out of that jam. Still haven't got the green flag all the way around yet. Didn't catch the number on the automobile that's trying to refire, but the front bumper and fender sky high now. You can see completely under the core support as you look forward on the black car with a blue nose. Here comes the 20 of something. Using all the track that he's got. And that is that Monte Carlo you're talking about, number 16, Brian Davis.
Nice shot coming on here.
Flatten the front tire, left front tire down on number 146 with Lockwood as he coasts out of your frame. Number 37 of Patton, the fender's starting to punch up. Back bumper down in the dirt on that wagon. The 355 of Chad Palmer having some trouble getting moving. Patton backs into him. The back bumper is completely high centered on the back end. You see the number 16 now also disabled. Brian Davis at the top of the arena. Look, Lockwood trying to get away. We're down to 4. Looks like we might be searching for our final 3 for the feature. Jason Scheidt waving them on. Ronnie Hinkle got him. Good look. Certainly passing the hate out, isn't he? Number 37, a Patton, just blasting everybody out there. Patton, he got a win down here a couple years ago. Looking for another one. Typically runs the silver colors on his car. Dylan Lockwood with a DerbyParts.com Derby T sign atop his rig. The number 20, swinging a miss in the Shenandoah Tire Rambler car. Now he's got it wound up, looking down the track. Trains the crosshairs on the number 37, swinging a miss with a hip track style hit. Ronnie Hinkle driving right up into the exit now. What this has got. Transmission not wanting to hold reverse gear for him. Goes into the backwards gear and makes, oh man, just missed a nice axle shot on the number 146 of Lockwood. Again, stock everything on these cars. You have to have a GM rear end, a GM port rear end, and a rear end. As we see Lockwood trying to refire it, Hinkle turns up the wicks as he drives into the left rear corner of the 146. And stick almost pulled the stick down. Lockwood chose not to. Shot clock is on the number 146. Backwards into Hinkle. Front bumper going pretty nicely for him, all things considered, on the Lincoln. Red flag is out. I think that gives us our qualifiers. There's your car, Josh.
That's a pretty solid heat. It's a very good test of the track surface right here. Right now, it looks to be a little bit more loose than it was before. The track is drying up, though. I think these drivers are just starting to get used to this track. I think as the night goes on, the track dries up. We're going to see a pretty good show here.
Yeah, there's
as
still
usual. Jonathan Patton and Ronnie Hinkle performed like always. They both drove pretty well. Adjusted to the track right here, as it's a bit more slick than the old track. And Jonathan Patton always comes through right here. Ronnie Hinkle tends to always put on a good show. Everybody else did very well here. Everybody was hitting hard if they could. No sandbagging involved here tonight, so that was very good to see.
see a couple of them there who are focused on using the rear end on those Vics, and it kind of worked for them to start packing in nice. But some of the guys are kind of all over the place a little bit, and their cars are bending a little funny now as a result. But I guess it's new to this track. It's hard to tell what it's going to do.
Absolutely. I was expecting the learning curve here tonight.
I was wondering if it was going to bottle up in the middle, and it started to a little bit, but then they cleared out and they used all of the track. So I think, like you said, once they start churning in this moisture, it's on the top of the track and getting it mixed in, it's gonna get a little more bite in it later on.
It's absolutely going to get tacky tonight.
The feature is probably going to be awesome.
Tracks right here tend to get tacky
Yep.
as the night goes on.
Yep.
If they don't add water, that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
I think we've got plenty here tonight. So we'll see how that plays out as far as the official decision goes.
Wow.
And here, this car is completely torn up. Front clip is about ripped off the passenger side. He did it best as he could, though, with the car that he had right there. I think these guys here put on a good show tonight so far, and I think it's only going to get better as the night goes on.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look behind us, you can see the Ferris wheel. If you look way off behind us, you can see the Ferris wheel. And this is one of the views that we were talking about. All the way around us, you can see in the background that green ridge. If you're in person, it looks blue.
Yep.
And we are right in the middle of the Shenandoah County, the Shenandoah Valley, and the Blue Ridge Mountains, and all the way around the perimeter of this track, you can see the same type of mountain range. We're just tucked right down here, and down in the valley.
It's nice. I can't get enough of taking it in. I mean, we have mountains around us at home, but it's always nice to see something different. My first time through here was after Bash for Cash, driving a different route than we took, and it was just beautiful. Kind of curious to see how this next heat turns out with 4 out of the 6 cars all lime green.
We're only
It's
taking
kinda,
3.
Yeah, so I'm kind of see if it's see how the end result is.
See, unfortunately, right now we see the 355. Todd, if you want to jump in and see if we can get a little peek at that 355 as he goes out. Unfortunate break for Chad Palmer. You see how far that back end went down, and it basically high centered the car, got the back wheels off the ground. Now, tomorrow night, if something like this were to happen to a wagon, they've basically got an unlimited 9-wire between the heat and the feature, correct? Or they're not allowed that?
No.
You can, unlimited 9-wire. So he could bend that back up in the pits, suck the roof down, and tie it all together, and he'd be just fine. Tonight, not so lucky. Stock night, you don't get that benefit.
Are you able to do anything to them between the heat and feature?
You can put another coat of turtle wax on it.
Yeah.
This next heat coming up is going to be a very good one as far as local lore and history and well-known drivers. First up, we have old Johnny Patton. Johnny Patton has been driving for about 40 years. He has tons of experience, started out in the sport, first starting out around here. He's won several times in Shenandoah County. Johnny Patton is a well-known wildlife driver.
Of the viewfinder.
You can see him with his gray beard sitting there in the car. How he's still doing these, I do not know. I'd be able to cane about that point.
Just a little more.
That old man is still kicking it.
Right
behind that, we have the Flat Rock team.
Remember, tic-tac-toe on there.
Behind that,
Keep
all
the
those
cars in
green
the middle
cars
square.
are the Coffee Town Militia. That's what they're called. Those are my cousins and my friends locally.
Todd,
we got Kevin
remember
Jones,
what I mean?
we got
Break it
Danny
up into
Manning,
thirds.
James Bunner, and Sean Gokenauer. Sean and one of his typical suicide Lincolns over there. It's a decently clean car. Got a little bit of rust in the front end.
I was a little bit. I was picking on him earlier.
His car. Kevin Jones is over here in the
Now
71
remember,
Oldsmobile.
Let me interrupt you just real quick. When you say decently clean, remember that means that there's still paint under the carpet on the floor.
Oh no, we got over that.
I didn't get past a half-inch of Bondo on the front fenders.
We got over that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Rust exists here for Gen S at this point. It's very hard to find clean cars in this area right here anymore. evolving derby, as you can probably tell.
Yeah.
These guys here are all starting to go to 80s and newer simply because the cars are cleaner
And the cost.
easier to find, as everywhere else in the country.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see how we got 4 cars with the same basically team going in. These guys are going to be forced to hit each other
Yep.
as the heat goes on.
But they
Very
will.
interesting.
Yeah.
But they will. I mean, that
Absolute-
group will junk each other's stuff.
Absolutely.
If there was only 4 cars in that heat, it's like nasty dogs. Eric Remington and Jim Eppinger
Yep.
up in Dunkirk.
If it's only those 4 cars out there,
It's going to be the
3 of
same
them are
show.
wadded up.
Absolutely. There's no such thing as favorites here or friends here in Shenandoah County. Everybody knows everybody here, everybody hits. So you will end up hitting your friend before your heat is over.
So first one out.
Back to light.
First one out is the number 40, Johnny Patton. Behind him is the 1121, Brian Silvius. The 67.
Which that looks... it's a
74 Nova,
right?
yeah. Like a 74 Nova. 73.
Nova, there's Danny Manning, number 69, the 199, James Berner, and the 302, Sean Gokenauer, and yet another Suicide Lincoln. And this rotating start is the rolling start is going to be a heck of fun to watch. Look for Gokenauer to come across the track at a high rate of speed once they get the countdown done. So we're just about ready to turn them loose in qualifying heat number 2. Again, the 67, Kevin Jones, that's the Nova, the Crown Vic, Danny Manning. Testing out how much grip they're hot lapping them like late models.
I don't know about the other cars, but that's an alcohol car.
Johnny Patton with a pit maneuver puts them right to the wall, and here comes the Caravan of Green, already turning their attention on one another. The Flat Rock car about to take a shot right here. Here comes Big Lick on that left rear corner by Berner in the 199. Berner had a Galaxy here years and years ago, probably 3 years ago, that had no business being on the track at all and qualifying with it. We got that thing back together and brought it out again last year, even more broke down as it was. So Berner certainly can drive. He's notorious for putting it against the floor. Takes a bad shot in that right rear corner, able to spin out of it. No big deal. Drops to the Nova right here front and center. The door already ripped open on the number 40 of Patton. Here comes Berner. Got it turned off. Here he comes. Piles into the left rear corner of Johnny Patton's number 40. Danny Manning gonna put a shot on his teammate. He locking the brakes a little bit, telling him to hit. Officials on him, doesn't matter. Can't bail out of the shot here. It's just simply not tolerated. And that was Silvius putting the lick on the Kevin Jones car. Telling him, get it in gear, let's go. Manning sitting idle in the middle of the track.
Danny got a hit on Danny Manning right there. He did not hold back on that one right there. Trying to take his axle, the 88 axle right there.
What's going on with Gokenauer out there?
I don't know. It sounds like it's breaking up. I don't know if it's as cold or if it's something.
Didn't get enough heat in the motor yet.
Yeah.
That alcohol can be real finicky. I was paying more attention to the front wheels. It didn't look like he was steering a whole lot. Maybe I'm wrong on that. The front wheels aren't turning.
That front end moved pretty quick on that car, the sheet metal, anyways.
Jason Shipe getting after him, getting very impatient with the pace thus far. No, starting to go sideways on the Cougar. And here comes Berner in the 199 across into the number 40 of Patton. Telling him to hit. Got to make a hit now. Continuing to pester the green team. Not hitting one another. Gokenauer trying to make contact. He's got a shot lined up. Following right across. There he goes. Big lick up. Gets into the stack. And the Nova piling behind him. And the officials right there on top of the green cars. Silvius. I'm wondering if maybe it would have been worth it to reseed the heats after they came up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put the 2 of the green cars, just trade them out, just to break it up a little bit. But it's the way.
It's
the way they've always done it here. As you come in, you register. But with 4 cars like this,
I will say the other 2 cars are holding their own, considering knowing what they're getting going into.
and with the problems the Nova's having, if Patton can keep his car running, it's very reasonable that we could have this thing evened up 2 on. Okay, red flag coming out now. Gokenauer laboring. We can see that evened up relatively easy. Officials telling him, you got to hit the green cars too. One official certainly more spirited than the other. Todd, if you want to jump in on the middle pack, that's where a lot of that action is going to happen when we get this thing come back to green.
Yeah, absolutely. They're jumping on Danny Man at number 69X, trying to get ahead of his own teammates. It seems like he's been trying to, but holding back just a little bit. James Bunner, of course, does not hold back. James Bunner has no teammates. Every single year, he exemplifies that nature of hit everyone in sight. And he is doing that tonight. There he goes, like Chuck looking now again. Barely misses it right there. Danny Man with the best front bumper, bending down. The old short on the bumper is pointing down on the ground. And there goes James Bunner. Again, going after his own teammates. He does not care. James Bunner's out to the hit cars all night long. Chuck looking at his car. Riviera front bumper is pointed back to the right corner a little bit. Not sure where that is coming from. If it's the frame or it's the BOP bracket or the bumper itself. You don't know. The flat rod bubble Lincoln is holding his own very well so far against all the teammates we're seeing here tonight. At this point, I think right now we're going to see more teammates hit each other here right now at this point.
Patton front bumper is broken off completely. Chain's the only thing that's holding that bumper in place. You see Sylvius now going backwards. The flat rock car swinging a miss on the 199 of Burner. The Nova looks like it's all done, and just a matter of time before that thing gets brought back to the pit area. Kevin Jones over here off camera. Todd jumped right in on top of him. Head right down to him. Yep, good. Right there, good. There we go. A little bit closer to look at what's going on down there at the far end of the track. Follow the action to the right as we see those guys kind of stacking up on each other. Coming back to us, a little bit more center. The flat rock car. Bumper shoved right up onto the block now, and Dogenauer turns it around, gets nose to nose with one of his longtime rivals, Johnny Patton in the number 40. Manning steam pouring out from under the hood of the number 69, the flat rock car of Sylvius, backing into the number 302 of Gokenauer. Manning parks on the back of the Cougar, not able to go backwards. Left rear wheel is bent on the number 40 of Patton. Glancing blow. Two glancing blows now as the 121 of 1121
There goes the radiator.
Bounces off with two cars. The radiator pops on the number 199 with the looks of things. Getting the back end to buckle pretty nicely with that front end shot. Gokenauer on the back of Burner. Here comes Sylvius one more time. Turns up in the last second. Got inside that wheel well, but the bumper cleared over top of the tire. Didn't flatten it.
James Burrows a good shot there at Danny Manor right now. Brian Sylvius and the Flat Rock Derby team is doing fantastic at the one-man show in this heat.
Look at how flat.
Yeah, Bobo Lincoln very, very well so far.
Look how flat that bumper is. Railroad bumper just went right through the door, pierced the door skin on the 199. As we see Patton at the top of the track. Full head of steam now.
Oh, swinging a miss.
Burner's going to be scrutinized for that one. The officials probably aren't going to be real thrilled. He had a full head of steam and had a chance of hitting the 69 and the 302, and he didn't do it. Now, Gokenauer chasing around the 1121 as Danny Manning goes into the back of Gokenauer. The bumper drops below the tin work of the 302 rather, and you can hear the hiss of a radiator being punctured. Might have lost the left front tire as well. Sparks flying out from underneath the hood as that core support radiator puts back on the pulleys. Burner has backed down his pace a little bit in that 199. It doesn't appear to be smoking or anything. No logic behind the reduced pace. He puts a shot on the firewall. Good look. Sylvius turns it around. Flat nose on that Bubba Lincoln, but they're nonetheless still out there giving him his all. The Mercury, Johnny Patton, he's got a shot lined up, but he's just laboring so much trying to get any room to work with. Bumper shoved back as it's broken off on the left front. Shoved back ugly as that bumper is pushed back. Really kicked the frame rail in the right front corner. That's a tire rubbing on body.
Yep.
Your tire rubbing bad.
Yeah, it is.
I think it was the number 1121 of Sylvius. When he drops it in reverse, the body's rubbing bad. There he goes again. Now, if you're keeping score at home, you'll note that the 69 and the 199 are both holding still. Stick is down on the 199 of Burner. So at this point, we have three cars still running and moving. Shot clock has expired on the 69 as well. The team drive that we talked about in the green colors, three of them going back to the trailer. Patton, Sylvius, and Gokenauer have qualified. Look at that, the 5 yachts there.
What a fantastic heat that was right there. Johnny Patton and Brian Sylvius really proved themselves there against 4 guys going after them all night, all heat long right there. James Brennan from start to finish did not care that his teammates were on the track. To him, there's just another car on the track to hit. He proved that once again tonight. His car still looks good. Not sure what happened to him. Lost a drive shaft or something else happened. Lost a transmission. Who knows? But I'm sure we'll see that car again sometime around here.
Well, let's hit on that because we got a couple of people asking if this was supposed to be a team show or what. And we talked about this when we started the heat, so we'll get on it again because without the sound of the engines, we can get into that a little bit deeper. The qualifying heats here have always been, as you register, you come in. So once you get to 6 or 8 cars, they start heat number 2.
Right.
And then once you get to 6 or 8 cars, they start heat number 3. And then once you get to that point, they start working on heat number 4. And if only 4 cars show up for heat number 4, they backfill them into heats 1, 2, and 3. So these guys travel together all the time. Conversely, I think this is the first time I've seen Gokenauer and his team coming together because they're always still trying to finish cars back in the house. They got to run back and forth. They came in together the way that they've always done the heats here. That filled out heat number 2.
Right.
Now again, hindsight being 2020, I think maybe we could have played some checkers and randomly pulled 2 of the green cars,
I
put that in
agree.
heat 1 and move some of the heat 1 cars to heat 2 just to balance it out. But in the vein of consistency, the way they've always done it was the way that they just did it, and the draw fell the way that it did. But while they did take a lot of damage, nonetheless, the green cars, they didn't qualify.
Right. I think the combination of the inspectors and the officials and the drivers, I think when you have 4 out of the 6 cars all come here together, as teammates or whatever you want to call them, granted they're running individual, I think they did pretty good as far as breaking it up and keeping it a universal show.
I think the only reason that I can think of here, I'm not sure why he put all 4 cars in the same heat also.
Yeah.
I think it's this way it kind of guaranteed that somebody from the team will be taken out.
Yeah.
It forces them to hit each other, but at the same time, if he's putting them up in the heats, or 2 for each heat right there, there's a chance that those 2 cars from each heat would have made it to the feature, and the feature would have definitely been a team show right there.
Yeah.
So who knows there's reasoning for that.
When you have a low car count, though, there's only so many cars you can hit in that heat. It don't matter if there's 1 person or 5 come together. There's only so many different cars you can heat.
Right.
And there's a couple factors at play too, being that this is the first time that they've had chain stock in years down here, probably decades that they've had anything like this actually come through and be built to these rules. So a lot of guys kind of waiting to see what chain stock actually meant and what got through inspection. The other thing too is, now if I'm in one of the cars that's steaming, Danny Manning, he's the one that's coming off the track right now. If I'm in Danny Manning's car, my car's laboring a little bit, it's steaming a little bit, it's not running the best. I've got a choice of beating up on my teammates, or we saw a couple clean cars. There was 4 of them that came out of heat 1. There's going to be 4 cars that come out of heat number 2 that are eligible to come to the consolation round. I'm shutting my car off. I mean, team orders right now, shut it off, let somebody else get in. Don't draw attention to yourself that you don't have to. Go to the cons and qualify that way. Now, is that what happened? I have no idea. But certainly it was within reason to think that
definitely
could have been a conversation.
Definitely.
Better your odds. That way you're not beating up on each other, and better your odds so that it's like what Corey said a minute ago. Now it is a team feature.
Yep. Now you're in your feet. Now you're in the feature. It's a card game. It's
So am I going to see it now? Yeah. You're making over the score?
I did. Yes, I did. I've got a car right here, so we get over. All right.
Yeah, man, I'll see you.
I'm wondering on those Vics being stock show I didn't get to see what the rule was for the rear suspension. If they still have to run the Watts link, factory Watts link rear, or if they can change it out to an 80 style. I have no idea. I'm kind of okay.
They were getting after Billy Orndorff because he wanted to run the 3/4 ton rear end, and that's not what comes in a GM.
Right,
you have to put the stock rear end in, and this is stock.
So many variations nowadays of what stock is for so many different shows.
I mean, you got that weird thing on, it depends on Mike Carey checking. It has a ton of work to do
The Mercury Cougar has a lot of work to do before the future. Yes,
Yes, it does.
it absolutely does. Coming back to what you're talking about, it is stock, and it all depends on where you stand in the country. Like Pro Class in New Alex was Bash for Cash. Some
Yep.
folks thought that we were saying Pro Mod, like in Kentucky or Ohio, where it was 5-foot rule.
Right.
You know, so it all depends on where you stand in the country, is how
Yep.
dumb you are.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
It's with a lot of motorsports, I guess. Everybody has their own variation. I think these compacts are going to get a lot of bite out here.
And you know, you made a comment about, you know, the low car turnout. We had 12 big cars here tonight,
Yeah.
which is an improvement.
Really?
Because things had gotten almost, you know, Corey was over here hanging out with us for a little while. He made the comment of, you know, Nationwide doesn't mind that, and they kind of don't. They do an inspection, they check everything, they make sure that you're not illegal, but you can get creative. You
Yeah.
can get real creative with some of the stuff that you can do with the cars. So things started getting a little more extreme and a little more extreme and a little more extreme and a little more extreme, and we started losing cars here. So this move to stock was supposed to help rejuvenate it. Look at the compact turnout that we've got, and it's strong. And to have the 12 cars here, it's not a bad thing. This is,
Oh, yeah.
again, we talk about how fairs and this about fairs and that about fairs and Derby sports healthy. This is one of the fairs that's starting to gain its momentum back. It's coming back. And Jason Shipe's done a nice job with the rules, and that's why we're happy to help these guys out.
Oh, absolutely.
And on the track, this is the 6-cylinder class. The number 9, Ian Monroe from Harrisonburg. The 00, Sean Kibler. Keep your eye on him in the 97 Lumina. 91 Cavaliers, the 1507 right here in Woodstock, Brandon Kibler. Sue Doval in the 50x2. This is 1990 Beretta. Kind of got a soft spot for that car. The 4 used Tyler Woods. James Heinz Jr. from Port Republic is in the number 65. Leo Santoya is in the 55. Green flag about to come out. A lot of room to work with. Oh man, right on the brakes. Sparks already flying for Kibler in the Poor Boys Derby Team 00. Turns it loose in reverse. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Josh Wilkins does have a car for tomorrow, so we'll be seeing him throwing the hammers around. There's a good look at that Beretta. Sue in the 50x2. We've seen Wayne Doval before, and this is Sue out there in the Beretta. Nose up. Todd, nose it up just a little bit. Nose it up. There you go. Looks like we got one car at the top of the track already disabled. The 9 doing a decent job right here front and center. The digital 9 with the teeth on it and trying to get that refired. The 00 of Kibler, as we expected, holding his own. Here comes one of the Dynasties, the number 55. That is Leo Santoya in the number 55. It's a 93 Dynasty. I learned how to drive on an 88 Dodge Dynasty.
Yeah.
It was an automatic. And it wasn't neon green.
You don't see them on the road very much up by us anyways. New York.
Kibler on Kibler crime right there. The 00 piling into the 1507. 55 now laboring in the middle of the track. Guys, I appreciate everybody at home hanging out with us tonight. It looked pretty adverse, but I think we've been able to hold this together okay. I want to give another mention to all of our sponsors: E2 Demolition Sliders, Stern Dirt Racing, Ultimate Derby, and Blizzard Bash, Smash It Demolition Derby, and the Bash for Cash. Catskill Fabrication and Performance helping make these shows possible. Live here in Virginia in lieu of being in the studio tonight. Red flag is out. And we're double checking condition of a couple drivers with the looks of things. The Daphne car, that is trying to get a look at that number. It's a little tough to catch it with a glare. Is that the 4U car? Tyler Woods in the 4U. Keeping an eye on him. Everything's okay. So actually they're paying attention to Sue Doval with the looks of things in the 50x2. Everybody's a boss, aren't they?
Always.
Hear that?
Oh yeah.
Look at that. The guy that just got in trouble for running out of the track hopped the wall, made the official happy over here, turned his back, and he went the rest of the way down the wall, hopped back out of the track, and went out to check on Stu. I think that might be Wayne going out on the track. Good, bad, what?
That's so much to hold him off for a little bit.
Got Sue out, so that's good. Big round of applause for her.
As soon as it was over, I want to apologize to you. I'm sorry. That's the problem. I was going back through there and it just came out of fucking nowhere.
Like that house is
I had a bottle of water. I always take a bottle of water in there. Nobody lived in there anymore. Because we're fucking get out. Fuck hot this goddamn thing. Fucking get dirty and take a drink. I couldn't find the bottle of water. I had a ratchet strap right behind the seat. Just a regular old ratchet strap. Fucking door was pushed up so far against the seat. And then ratchet strap, just the strap that was pinned in there. You couldn't fucking
every round I've been to, except for this, I used to always watch out outside it. I wouldn't know. It's actually quite quick with the old track, man. And I mean,
I'll put that bar behind the seat, one right there at the fucking door.
but it's got to be different.
I learned this past year. I ran over the truck living on that past year.
Not
Where
your
the speaker goes. I mean, it's pain nasty shut. That motherfucker don't move. Especially when I let that car behind the seat. I know you pretty good action. I knew it was pretty good.
His is our gas tank guy.
Oh, okay.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you, man? Good. Kind of warranty we get into those things. Like we have like a big problem.
Ryan, I need you on the microphone. Just get out of that conversation.
Whatever happened, it must have happened in shipping. You'll have to take it up with them.
Ryan, finally putting some faces with some of the names. you shipped
Yeah,
stuff to down here.
definitely. Yep. They've been trying to get up to some stuff up back at home, some events, and they've got families and things going on. They haven't been able to make it, and I haven't had a reason to come down here, so it's a good time.
Six cylinders. We got Sue Doble exiting her car, being checked out by the emergency crews over there, and one car, number 60, was it 55, Leo Santoya, being escorted off. Gotta believe it was a fuel-related issue inside the car, something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
The 1507 is Brandon Kibler, desperately trying to keep that thing running. It doesn't sound healthy.
Smoking pretty bad.
And there's Sue. Sue's hopping back over the wall. Looks like she's going to be okay. That's good. Right on, Todd. Good job. Right there. Looks like we might be down to 2. Kibler. Something's not right there. It almost sounded like he's... Got a lot of hot, and I don't know if he's got all of his drive left. He might have hurt the transmission. Backing it down a little bit, and we see Kibler taking a shot, and Brandon Kibler is in the 1507. Sean Kibler in the 00, and he's trying to keep that running, and tell him to pick the pace up again. I believe that is the 65 of James Heinz Jr. trying to limp it along. Makes another qualifying hit. He's in a real good spot right now. Checkered flag in hand.
Yeah, that's the only one I see
with
moving.
Jason Scheidt. Sounds like he's got 4 in a row turnouts. You hear the pop? So got word earlier today, Ed Brewster's going to come down and hang out with us as we see grains running thin in the hourglass for the 2 Kibler cars. And it is James Heinz Jr. from Port Republic in the number 65. Nose up, buddy. Nose up, Todd. Nose up. There you go. And then when he comes back to you, just zoom out so you can see the car that he's about to hit and zoom in as he goes away. Perfect, just like that. Nose up a little. Nose up. There you go. Man, stick broken down on the 00 of Kibler. He is not happy about that turn of events, and that means that the 1507 is right behind him. Flattens the front tire.
There it is. Don't sound the greatest, but it's still running strong.
Doesn't have to sound good, right?
Nope.
Just has to stay running. Bank don't care what it sounds like.
That's right.
So I thought we were going to be seeing through the course of the evening, we were going to be catching up with right on cue. What's up, Mr. Kingry? How are you?
Very good. How about you, Chris?
I'm doing all right. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
So, no car tonight because you said that you have long ago as a child you swore off stock when you modified your Power Wheels at home and you wouldn't build a car. It was held together by chain. You need more weld stuff, and now it sounds like maybe we're gonna see you tomorrow. The car's sitting home and done and ready.
It needs some brakes work done on it. I think I'm gonna fix it up and come out and play. Got to try this new track out before we go to Chaos.
Gotta have a test run on it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And, you know, this track is new, but it's actually a pretty decent track so far. We was up in the Crow's Nest with Mark Wolf, which he'll be driving tomorrow night too. And this is kind of like a track that, I don't know, we really don't have a hard packed track where you got to learn how to drive with the rear of a car for your steering instead of the front.
Right. So tell me, you said you have some brake work to do. When you have a brake setup on the front end of a car, do you have brakes on both sides, or do you run just one side?
I only run rear brakes.
Only rear.
Yeah.
So you have nothing on the front.
No, nothing on the front because the way my spindle setup is, I'm running drum brakes on the rear, and I guess it's a floor-mounted pedal. It worked good when I ran Bash and when I ran Ruckersville this past year. Not sure what happened. We had good pressure. I went to load it up and run Luray on Saturday night, and we didn't have pressure, so it is what it is. We'll fix it up and try to get it here tomorrow.
What was your experience at Bash like? How much fun was that?
It was very a learning experience. When they tell you to cut something, you better cut it because they're pretty serious on, hey, in reality didn't hit until he leaned in that door and he's like, you got one more chance or I'm loading you. I'm like, man, I drove 6 hours.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun, you know. I mean, we hit just like they do up there. It's just a little bit more noise, a little bit more harder drivers. I mean, very talented, very talented.
The last couple of years, it seemed here locally that the full-size class, compact class too for that matter, compact class here is no laughing matter. I love
They're getting
watching
it.
the mini cars here. Every year that we've been here, at least once, the mini cars will hit back to back and hit so hard that both cars do about a 90-degree turn in the air. It seemed like the rules here had become more and more in line with what the Bash for Cash was. And you guys were basically building Bash for Cash cars, but they weren't the refined and polished builds. There's still a lot of guys that are more content to build stuff on their own here, the same technology, the same purpose-built stuff. They just use the spare metal that's laying around the shop, then buy the polished stuff that you can buy online. So where are things at now in terms of going in tomorrow? Is there more aftermarket infiltration, or a lot of these guys still building their own stuff?
You know, I mean, you got a lot of guys that's still building their own stuff around here. You know, I give credit to every guy that made the part first. I mean, anybody that makes the part first. I mean, some of this stuff is, I wouldn't say necessarily a copycat, but it's more of a homemade build. They don't see spending the money as some of us others do.
Right.
And I mean, in my opinion, this is just me, I would much rather buy the part that's been proven than chance it at a big money show like Bash or any of the big money shows around. I mean, even Chaos. I mean, the littlest thing can happen and take you out. I mean, I had a whole new setup when I ran Bash this year, and it ended up. I mean, I ran a new kind of fuel cell. I mean, I ran a bladder cell, stuff like that, and the cap came off. I mean, it's just a whole new kind of setup. Something that you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. So if you see the product already tested, why not go with the one that's tested?
I've seen a lot of the guys here. You know, you're talking about why risk it at the big shows, but at the local level, I've seen plenty of guys. You know, Mark Wolf. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Josh Wilkins is another guy. Where when you look at the cage inside, you look at the bars, the way they're put together, and it's just a couple, 2-3 pieces that are butt welded together, or maybe dovetailed together, and they're welded back in place, and it completely serves its purpose. Halo bars, rear window bars, stuff along those lines. It's built that way. The a brace to hold a power steering pump on the front of a homemade mid plate is just made out of a piece of triangulated metal that was cut off of something else.
It may not be pretty, but it gets the job done.
It absolutely does, and they can drive them hard down here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we try to reuse a lot of stuff out of the other cars. Here lately I've been lazy. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't felt like cutting it out of the next car, so I just see it as easy as just going to buy it new. I mean, work. I mean, most of us work crazy hours down here because we're excavation, construction. We all work crazy hours. So I mean, but a lot of guys still, they do cut it out of other cars.
You're an excavation now?
Yeah, I work for Racy Paving and excavating around this area.
And here all this time I thought you were a lawyer.
No, I wish. I wish,
How
definitely.
many cars do you have done now at the house?
You should have something left from your Chaos car from last year. You got a Bash car.
I skipped Chaos last year. I had some stuff come
Or
up.
the fair last year, the camouflage paint. You ended up going up on top of the roof right here in front.
Yeah, I had Trapper Travis Custard. He'll be rolling out in Impala tomorrow. I had him up on me. No, I got rid of that one. If I got bad luck in it the first time, I get rid of it.
Right.
My Bash car, I killed it. I killed it down the road, down here in Ruckersville.
Okay.
On the other side of Harrisonburg. So that one's sitting there. I started building a 2000 Lincoln, which more than likely you'll probably see it roll out tomorrow night. And then I got a pretty solid car for Chaos. Most people that probably watch this have seen it run. at Coos before, so I'm pretty excited to see it.
So what car needs the brake work? That's just the
That's my 2000 Lincoln.
Okay.
that I got.
So you got you got a fleet there.
Yeah, I got a little bit of fleet. I got a 03 for Chaos. I'm pretty excited about this one. I got it from Blake Lonis. He bought it out of Pennsylvania, off of somebody, and I was all up because I was like, hey, all the work's done, so I'll put my drivetrain in it.
Justin Madden checking in from Broome County. He's the guy that oversaw the Broome County Fair in Whitney Point. So you bought it, you saw it at Kings of Old School, you bought it from Pennsylvania.
I didn't buy it. Blake Lonis bought it from Pennsylvania, and then we ended up we all the time swapping stuff back and forth, and I ended up with it, and it's just been sitting there. I haven't really done a whole lot.
What
to it.
class did it run at at Kings of Old School?
The kicker class, Mr. Tice's car.
All right.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, it looks like a totally different car now. Blake rescunned most of it, put a whole new rear clip on the rear of it. It's going to be, the way it looks is pretty nasty. It's something I've never seen before. I'm excited to get behind the wheel of it. That's for sure.
Look at Todd. Todd's getting ear to ear.
He's just wondering how you buy a car like that.
Luck, I guess. Luck at the draw. Nah, me and Blake and all of us. I mean, every guy around here, we all help each other out. I mean, that's what keeps this county going. That's what keeps us all going. I mean, Sean and them, you've seen how many cars they rolled out for stock, and them guys are constantly out there working on them. I mean, it might be the night before the show, they're trying to get something done, and usually the time they're here. And they're always competitive, and that's a good thing to look at. It's something that keeps this sport going, is having that extra little bit of support from everybody. I mean, I was standing up there with Mark up in the crow's nest watching down here while he was announcing, and he's like, he just kept talking to me about running tomorrow, and I think he got me talking to it.
Yeah.
Now, after running Bash for Cash, venturing out of this area a little bit and trying a different show, do you see yourself running more shows out of the area, maybe trying something new in different areas?
Very definitely. I'm definitely going to try Bash again. I wish they still had Keystone. I wanted to try that one this past year too, but I would definitely want to try some new shows. I really liked it because it's no drama at the bigger shows as it is some of them down here. I mean, you got your grudges, but you don't have your full grudges that you see
Like
at the
the
local
county
shows.
fair, yep.
Yeah. But the local shows is what keeps everybody kind of involved, because I mean, Chaos, yeah, it's a great thing for this county because this is right in the middle of North Carolina and everything.
Yep.
So they don't have to they don't have to travel as far to go to Pennsylvania or the big money shows up there. But I definitely see myself. I'm definitely going to try to go back to Bash next year. Hopefully, I'm going to check the smaller things instead of worrying about the bigger things. But it's definitely worth the shot. Definitely. I mean, I love it that Chris comes down here every year. He helps out this sport as much as anybody. I mean, and you do too. I mean, your parts and stuff like that. I got your training cooler and stuff like that in my car. So, I mean, I love the fact that we're so far apart, but we all still got the same aspect as the Derby.
Yep.
We just need to get Chris in one of his Chryslers that he has.
I've only got one left. It all sold.
Well, see, that's perfect one to
That's
run.
not getting wrecked.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
It'd be a good stock car.
Negative.
I'll tell you, we all just got to get on him about it.
I think the missus would
Either
wring
that
your
or
neck
needs
at
to
the
save
thought
it.
of it, wouldn't
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, it's not getting wrecked.
Either I don't know. I remember one of the podcasts I watched. I think your little boy was going to wreck it.
Yep, he's got big plans. He's
He's
gonna,
going to
I
junk
think-
everybody
I
with
think
it.
he's rolling everybody.
Brian's going on his lid. Everybody's going. Josh, Ben, everybody's getting wrecked.
Yeah, that's definitely that's cool.
Look over your shoulder.
That was somebody I really like to enjoy running was Pete. I like watching him at Keystone the last time that he ran. That was pretty cool. I think he ran most of it with no steering.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. I'll tell
That
you
was
right now.
two years ago, maybe. You want to swing down on this? Todd, you want to flip that around so we can kind of see what's going on right here in front of us? So Sean Kibler trying to get the double O back out onto the track, and now we've got some hints of a fire under the hood perhaps, and it just died on him. He can't get the thing to refire now. It's just barely turning over. Sounds like the battery's there's nothing left of it. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what he's trying to come back out for. We ran it down to the last one in the 6 cylinders. Maybe he's trying to bring it back out for the 4 cylinder too.
Consolation was next, wasn't it?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Maybe he's running with Consolation.
What are all these fresh cars over here?
Those are all the 4 cylinder cars. Those were due up before the big feature.
Oh, it's a run and done with them.
Yep. I believe this might be Wayne Doble in the Sue Doble car pulling up just behind Sean in the 00. He's in the 50x2.
No, actually, that's her son. That's Chad Kirkendall. They all ran with Wayne at one time. I don't know. I ain't getting into details about that, but they used to all run together. I mean, everybody, they're more into the compact stuff now, but they used to be full swing into the big cars. You see a lot of the compact drivers used to be big car drivers, and a lot of that's because of how much the sport is involved.
Do you run compacts much, or you stick to the big cars?
I like the big cars. I can get my big butt out of it.
Does he look like a guy that runs compacts?
I don't know. I've seen some guys get into compacts that I would never guess.
Nah, I tried to put a V8 in one time, but it went sideways for some reason. I don't know what was up with it. I was like, man.
The only V8 you ever put on a compact was the one that you dropped through the roof of it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
If I can't run it, no one will.
Yeah.
Right through the roof. Squashed it flat.
No, I like to see, we got a lot of new drivers out these days, especially tonight. It was pretty cool to see somebody at number 20 car, at 20, I think it was SS, the Cody Sumption. This was only his second Derby. No, I'm wrong. This is only the third show he's ever ran. He's actually, he did pretty good. I mean, I was very impressed with him. And then you got like Sean and Burner and all of them, they've been running for a while, and it's always impressive to see everybody run. And then it's impressive to see rookies starting to come out and enjoy it, even though it's a compact, but still, you know what, maybe one day they'll wake up, all right, I want to run a
Why not?
size.
You got to try it. Got to try it to know if you don't like it, I suppose, right?
Yeah, and it's better to try it in a compact than to drop a bunch of money and then go, yeah, this ain't
Looks like we've only got 2 cars out for the Consi at this point. Lost my train of thought there. I was going to ask you about something. We were talking about the compact cars. You guys, Rob Armstrong.
I seen him in the stands.
He's in the stands?
I'll
Too
pass
bad.
him on the stands.
And Eli. What's his last name? Can't remember.
I don't think I know him. Yeah, he's in the stand.
I think he drives with the Flat Rock team. I can't think of his name. I can't place it now. But he usually runs out here. Maybe we'll see him again tomorrow.
I'm trying to think who you're talking about. I can't even think of it actually.
I've had it. It's on my rosters.
A bunch of them Flat Rock boys.
There is. There's
Sylvia's run. No matter what happens, he's always still a good sport. I know. My one buddy, of course, James Wren, always runs 39. I'm going to really miss him tomorrow night being out here with me. He's saving his for chaos. But that's one man I give him most respect. He can go out here and make one hit, and he'll be the first one of us in the wintertime building a car. I was building for Bash, and he was building for Woodstock.
Jesse Bly. That's the name I was trying to think of.
Jesse Bly.
Jesse's got a car for tomorrow,
Yep.
and he won last year in his first ever start.
Yep.
Hartford, Jerza Sherman.
Yes.
First win in her first start. She just kind of out of nowhere said, I kind of wanted to build a derby car. And Jake said, all right, go build it. and he helped her a little bit, you know. And I think he welded the bumper on, but she drove that thing, and she looked just like her dad driving that. I mean, the same hits, the same pace. I mean, the timing of it. You know how Jake will get up on it and then hammer it in.
Oh yeah.
She was doing the same thing, man. It was fun to watch, and that was after Shiloh Smith, second generation driver, finished second, and Kylie Gully finished third, second generation driver.
Little Jesse Bly, he is rolling out tomorrow. He went to Bash with me. He's went to every show basically I've went to this year. He's my little buddy. I give him props. He's been talking about it all the time. He's running Kevin Shipes, one of Kevin Shipes' cars that he took down to Ruckersville. That boy, he was spent the money. He put the axles back in it. He put the strut back on it, all for a compact, you know.
It's all about that heart, though. You know, they get their hearts in it, and that's where it is.
He's got a big car for. He does have a big car for next year. He wants to run this year, but I think he wants to get a little bit more underneath his belt.
So, Kevin Jones and that number 67, the Nova. He's on his way down to our end of the track. And this is going to be the constant. Only 2 cars elected to come out. I gotta believe that they're saving those cars to weld on them tomorrow. So they're making the 67 hit the 00.
It's gonna hurt.
Woo. Wow, what a shot that was!
That was a good shot. I think that would be a qualifying hit.
Yeah, qualifying hit right there. I hope we didn't just break his drive shaft or something silly. Doing that, hitting him that hard. Look at how bad the back end just arched over. All right, he's all right. You just heard Mark Wolf make the comment. He's right. If Kibler had a lawnmower that they would let him bring out for the constant, he'd have it out there. Just real quick, everybody make a quick note of what happened to the back end of the Nova after he went into that Lumina and how little the Lumina moved after that shot. As we see Jones now punching his ticket to the feature.
So what other shows y'all going to this year, Chris? I know you usually put it on there, but I can't really remember all of them.
After this, we're home next weekend. Kings of Old School, one of our show sponsors, is going to be September 3rd and 4th, 2 o'clock start time both days. Live band Saturday night. Team show in the Northeast Championship. We finish in the top 2. Mini Derby in 2015 or 16. You're eligible to go run at the Delaware County Fair in Walton. Kings of Old School 4, which is the second show of Kings of Old School season this year. We're not going to be there, but that's coming next weekend. I'll be home with my kid for his birthday. The 17th of September, we're in Dunkirk, New York for the Lake Erie Rumble. The week after that, we will be, the 24th, will be at Brookfield Wheel Days at the Madison County Fairgrounds in Brookfield, New York. We're going to do live to tape there, I believe. We're going to be live in arena announcing in Dunkirk, the Lake Erie Rumble, and then live to tape in Brookfield. Then we'll be in Ogden, Utah at Golden Spike Arena for Halloween Havoc on the 1st of October. That will be a pay-per-view show with Stern Dirt Racing, another one of our show sponsors. Ultimate Derby has a show that same day, Battleground in Louisville, Kentucky at Freedom Hall, indoors. After that, we'll come home. We'll do October the 8th, which is the Hog Wild Fall Brawl, which is the barbecue fest, the show and shine contest. It's like $11 to get in the door. It's an all-day event. We'll be down there. We're going to turn around, drive all night to get back up to the San Filippo Smash, which is a benefit derby for San Filippo disease, which is what afflicts.
Yeah, if you got anything left,
Jeremy
bring
Gully,
it up.
Yeah, Jeremy Gully's boy is affected by that, so their family having a benefit to help fund research for a cure for that event on the 9th of October at the Morris Fairgrounds, or Otsego County Fairgrounds in Morris, New York. After that, we will come here. That'll be our next show for after the 9th. We'll be down here for October the 24th for Chaos in the Valley, and then we'll go to Blizzard Bash. So just 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I'm really considering flying out to Blizzard Bash. I really am. I'm considering it. I don't know yet.
I can't wait. It's like coming here and putting faces with the names and people I've talked with going out there. I have so many customers that are running out there that it'd be nice to go out there and hang out with them. And
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's just like it was nice to go up to like the Derby banquet. You know, I hanged out with.
We had a good time.
I talked to Chris a little bit. Yeah, we definitely had a good time.
You coming to New Year's this year?
I believe I'm gonna.
You're gonna make the trip up to New Year's?
Sure,
That'll be fun.
I gotta see what's up with my boys first. I gotta keep my kids happy first, but if I can definitely make it, I'm definitely coming this year. I tried to get them to go. I tried to get a couple of us to go last year, and they're like, I don't know about New Year's. I'm like, come on, man. You know y'all enjoy it, but.
All right, we got to give you the rundown quick on the four cylinders. In car 100, it's Dalton Dillman, Jeffrey Mitchell, in the 01.
Junior, that's Gary Wayne Shipe. The 425 is Jimmy Pitcock. Josh Eaton in the
916, Stephen Huffman in the 007, Christian Wolf in the 52 XX. The 66 is Travis Wood, Brandon Sylvius in the 3, and Jared Williams in the 427. Trying to break up the pack a little bit, or are we navigating around the number 425? This is a one and done. So 2 events left. This and then our feature for the night. Todd, hi, how's it going over there? How you feeling? You good? Like okay? 2 thumbs up. Are you still driving Sean's car in the feature? 425.
I pretty much.
It just clicked when I asked him, I think.
Pretty cool to see Mark Wolf's daughter out there running around for her first time by herself. She's ran a youth class before.
Right across the track. Wow. The big lick, the number 100, right across the track. Turbo mode, Dalton Dillman in the number 100, piles into the red engine.
Nice.
That was one of the flat rod cars. And there's a lot of twisted junk up there on the top of the track. Christian Wolf, trying to get out of that jet. Before he has 27, now Jared Williams flying across the track and getting in shape.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Car that didn't even make it off the line, loses his bumper. That's a first.
Just to clarify again, we have the 2 shows back to back. We have the Hog Wild Fall Ball, and Stoneboro Homecoming is the 8th Forest Derby is tonight. That number 100, Gilman went across the track and piled
into one of those other cars, and I tell you what, as soon as he hit
both of those cars.
absolutely still, they did not move again after those 2 made contact. So now we're kind of watching to see what happens with those. They haven't moved since, and I couldn't catch the number on which one he had hit when Dillman went across the track over there. Bubble. Wolf trying to get out of the jam here as we see the 66 flying across the track. That is Travis Wood. And Wolf again gets tagged by the, looks like that might be the Civic. Brandon Sylvius in the number 3 from Quicksburg. 427 Darren Williams still out there running and moving. Right rear tire folding up real bad on Gary Wayne Shipe's 09. That was crazy.
Runaway car.
Throttle might have stuck. That was scary right there.
Yeah, it was.
Real
could have been really bad.
Well, thankfully, with the sounds, did everybody get out of the way?
Yeah,
Is-
yeah,
so
everybody
got
was
out of the
alert.
way.
Yeah,
And the
there wasn't
car-
really anybody there.
And the
to
car
make it-
did not get through the fence at the end of the track to get
No.
on the midway, right?
No, no, they got it.
Heading right to the midway. Okay, so just to kind of reiterate what happened, probably at the bottom of your screen, you saw that red car. That was Kristen Wolf flying out of the arena, either stuck in gear or stuck throttle, one or the other. On the way through, several people said that the driver was fighting it, trying to get it to stop. There were people corralled in the track exit. Jason Scheidt just got out of the way. All of the fans behind us able to get out of the way, and thankfully, everything was empty down at the far end of the pit area, and the car did get stopped before it got to the midway of the fair. So everything
It's just a
is
wooden
okay.
fence there. It would have blasted right
It
through
would-
it
yeah,
if
the
it
chain
didn't.
link fence, it would have been a bump in the road on the way through. But unfortunately, it is so far behind us, we can't get the camera spun around. So we're letting you kind of look at what's going on left on the track. We did a little bit of maintenance. I got to believe that track, that car will be all done for the night. Probably not coming back into competition.
You never know what you're going to see here, that's for sure. We've had cars over the walls. We've had cars come out of the track, nothing like that. But, you know, thank God nobody got hurt.
Hey guys, that kid okay? So reports, but she's all right and everybody's okay. Going down there, obviously a little bit shaken. Kristen Wolf. This is the first time she was driving by herself, and in an adult division. And reports were that it was the throttle stuck open on it, and she couldn't get it out of gear, fighting it the whole way on the brakes, and it was just honing down the track. Man, that was a scary one.
Yeah, everybody could be a Monday quarterback on what to do on that, but when you're sitting in the seat without the experience or knowing what to do, you know, I'm sure she was in panic mode trying to get that thing stopped.
So there's a word trackside on what exactly was going on there. Harrowing. They're taking a lot of extra extraction equipment down there.
I'm
You know,
not
looking
sure what-
trying to get under the hood or get in the doors. So at this point, again, we were looking for the last car running, number 66, being escorted off the track. There goes Travis Wood.
Oh, that's no problem.
So we got a formal report on what happened to the 425 out there. The 425. Went out there to do the tour lap, so to say, the rolling start, and the motor locked up right there on the spot. Tough break for him.
That sounds like luck I would have.
Yeah. Well, the fire crew is reporting back from what is turn 4 of the horse track from the perimeter of this newly built interior facility for tractor pulls and demolition derbies. I wonder how the tractor pull guys are going to feel when they found out their beautiful track was all tore up by derby cars.
They're going to pray their tires are good at the end of the track. I'm sure they've got some stuff in order to clean it out, I would think. I'm talking with some guys out in Montana area and stuff. They say a lot of their tracks are rodeo tracks or horse tracks, and a lot of the tracks they don't like the derby cars on them just for the horses and stuff.
Hey, dude. Come help me do my brakes.
Well, you're getting closer and closer to running tomorrow. I just heard you tell somebody else all I got to do is do my brakes.
Yeah, I might have to have you all come down and help me bleed them. I ain't got nobody. Come in there and help pump.
So I got a bit of a conflict with that. I write for the Finger Lakes Times in Geneva, and I do the motorsports column from the racing recap on the weekends. And I just got a text message a little while ago from the sports editor saying, "Where's the motorsports column?" And we were so wrapped up with travel and getting our stuff together here, I didn't send it in. I got to do that tomorrow and take care of for him.
He can wait one more day.
Gary Wayne
pick
Scheidt.
Ryan up. I'll show him the valley. Show him what we got down here.
Gary Wayne Scheidt, he's in trouble.
I say Ryan ought to bring his car that he's possibly going to be running if he's got anything left back down to
Chaos?
Chaos.
I got to get it done first.
I think we could put a bumper hitch on your van and bring it down. It's kind of funny seeing certain boys that you go to school with, that you went to school with, you haven't seen in a couple of years, and now all of a sudden, boom, they're here. Gotta love a small town county fair.
Stephen Huffman.
Quick spritz from the fire extinguishers. He made a rapid exit out of his black 007. So at this point, I believe we're down to our last two. 427 of Darren Williams and that black and green car. Who is that?
Where's that?
Black and green car. Who's in that?
Not for sure. I don't even see a number.
Is that the 9/16th? That might be Josh Eaton, I believe.
No, I think Eaton is up there in the corner behind
The red one?
car. Yeah, I think that's Eaton.
Backwoods Boys. Is that the 01? Jeff Mitchell? I believe it is. I believe that's the 01 of Jeffrey Mitchell. Trying to drive his way to a win, piling in on top of the
427, shaking in the car, trying to get that thing to refire, and it's not coming to life at all. Darren Williams. Williams could be in trouble. Checkered flag in hand. You see Jason Shea heading out trackside to potentially wave that over the top of that 01 of Jeffrey Mitchell. Enough power to pull away, and running out of grains in the hourglass for him. Stopwatch is on the 427. Comes back, does one more shot. He's ahead in the hit count by a lot. Checkered flag in hand, waves over the number 01 of Jeffrey Mitchell. Good win for him. Nice run.
Yeah.
Something about them Cavaliers. That's what little Jesse Bly won in last year.
Cavaliers tend to do very well here. Was it Jeffrey that was the car that 2 years ago at the fair got T-boned in the passenger side? It was every color under the sun. It was all sorts of crazy different colors, and the spreader bar behind the seat punched out through the side of the car, but the whole car caved in. They ended up having to help him out of the car. It happened right about where he was standing a minute ago, right on the inside wall, just at the lower edge, near that far side.
You know,
It was a Sunfire.
I believe so. I don't really remember because see, that was a problem when we had Nationwide down here. We was working on our cars for the features whenever the compacts was running, and
But you're like the mayor down here. You know everybody and everything that happens.
sometimes not always. I'm out of the click on these compacts. So too many new faces. But
There are a lot of new names here tonight. I mean, a lot of them.
I'm excited to see tomorrow night. I really am. I don't know if he's showing up, but I'm excited to see if Mr. Coke comes.
Yes.
I'm very excited to see. I love running with Jason. I've ran with him a couple times up here. I ran with him the very first Chaos show. I like running with him, and I'm hoping that he shows up tomorrow night. I'd really like to see it. Besides me and Mark, I think Sean said something maybe about bringing his. I think Bill Ondor's boys got one for over here.
Nice.
I'm not for sure about Billy.
No one is at this point. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything to confirm that he is or isn't coming either way.
Well, we all kind of got that secret life of the American Derby. That's the way it is around this county, but it is what it is, you know. It's fun, though. He was on a pretty good roll there. He did pretty good. He had a nice built 03 over there at Luray this past Saturday night. I'm curious to see maybe if he's going to bring that or what he's going to show up in. I think Ryan will be very surprised to see us roll in our big cars in person tomorrow in the actual weld class. I think he'll be very shocked to see how.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him up close in person, see what you guys are doing with the rules down here for your builds.
We're definitely not afraid to. Some of us ain't afraid to junk our stuff real fast. Some of us, we tend to junk it in the middle, and some of us wait till the end. But we try to all just have fun.
Swing by and pick me up. We'll get those brakes done tomorrow morning.
I'll come up. Where y'all staying at?
Right
I'll come
over
pick
here.
you.
Right there.
I'll be up here. I'll be up around 11.
11?
Yeah, I got my kids in the morning.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, I'll be up at about 11. I'll take you. I'll show you some of the valley.
Hear that back there in the pits?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like we got some nasty V8s coming out pretty soon. So a couple people still asking about what happened when that red car left, thinking that somebody was angry or upset when they left, and it wasn't the case at all. It was a hung throttle, and the car wouldn't come out of gear. So obviously the car made a crazy exit, people running all over the place. No one was hurt, and they did get the car stopped. They put up all new fencing on the outside, which is just chain link between the Derby area, so to say. It's a horse track, about a quarter mile horse track?
Yeah, I think it's probably close to half mile. It's
Half
big.
mile. It's a big one. I don't know if horse tracks were always in the same
I don't
cookie
know
cutter
either.
size. I don't know. I know how to measure furlongs, but that's about it. Went out of the track, and we thought perhaps that if it was hung and they couldn't get it stopped and it didn't hit anything on the way, it could get right up onto the midway. The midway is just on the other side of that fence. Long ways. I mean, we're halfway down the front stretch, so it went halfway to turn 4.
A lot happened in a very short time.
Yeah,
right
sure
there.
did. But everybody was fine. It was a hung throttle, and they couldn't get the car out of gear to stop the drive. And obviously, both feet on the brakes and wide eyes weren't enough to slow it down.
Right.
But everybody was fine. Rattled, I'm sure. Rattled, nervous, no doubt. One car left in his feature time.
Did you get to talk to Jason? You know, he climbed back into a big car finally.
When?
He ran. I got him talked into running Ruckersville with me back in June. I got him talked into it. We built it in like a week, I think. He ran a box Lincoln. It was already stripped out. I got it from James. We got it from James Wren, and it was already stripped out. And we started working on it. And I got him talked into it. And after that, he's kind of like, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah.
He's like, "I can't. Not no more." Because I put a low cage in there, and well, I think he's still walking around with the mark on his shin.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger than me, so I guess he bounces around.
Oh, man.
But it was pretty cool. It was nice to run again. It was nice to run with Shipe again. You know, I grew up with Jason. I grew up with the other official, Chris Campbell, that's helping him. That's my uncle. I mean, I grew up learning from these guys, and it's kind of cool to run for them. It ain't cool when the tips and tricks part because I learned from them. So.
Right on. Hard to argue with that. So the rundown of what we're going to see in the feature, the 37 John Patton is going to be out here at Cody Sumption in the 20 SS running Hinkle, qualifying out of heat number 1 in the 6. Johnny Patton in the 40. 11:21 is Brian Sylvius. Sean Gokenauer in the 3:02 out of heat 2. And consolation round qualifier Kevin Jones making the one hit on the compact. So 7 cars lined up for the main. I anticipate it going very quickly.
Yeah. I think it's going to be junk in a hurry.
What are they doing after this? Okay. Very cool. So just got word from the track. If there is anything left of the stock cars, they're going to have a wide open free-for-all. So once they're done, give them a few minutes to get them fixed up. Yeah. Did we talk at all about David yet? David Sims?
No.
David Sims in the UK, United Kingdom, in Poole, Dorset, I believe is where he lives. Tuning in tonight. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
He's been hooked now. I mean, he is absolutely hooked. He doesn't miss a single one. Every Monday night, all the live streams, he loves it.
It's awesome, the social media. I mean, one of the positive things of social media, just being able to reach out all across the country, across the world. I'm gonna be surprised if there's. I'm gonna be surprised if there's anything left after this feature for a free for all.
Might be some compact cars coming
Yeah.
out, but
Didn't look like much of them when they went off the track.
I'm actually kind of curious to see how many stock cars we're going to see roll out tomorrow night here. Some of these guys.
Come back and run.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you only got 6 weld cars, I don't know. I like hitting the harder cars before I hit the softer cars. You get stuck on the soft cars, but it'd be a pretty good shot for them.
Easy chance to make the feature, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
Easy ticket.
I'd love to see a good car count tomorrow night. It'd really put this fair back on the map, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that are anxious for it to happen. Come on. Mic 1 2, mic check 1 2. How about that? Anything on that one? Anything? Mic 1 2, mic 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic 1 2, mic 1 2, mic 1 2.
Now we can play with buttons, Ryan. He's gone.
I didn't see anything.
Did we lose all the microphones? Nope.
Look, right there he is. There's the champion from last year.
Jesse Bly hanging out behind us here for a few minutes.
I believe he's running Wild Jesse tomorrow night. I think it's how he's running now.
So we see lined up over there, the number 6. That's Ronnie Hinkle. Waiting for the field to bring him out. Green cars in line. Sean Gokenau in the 302. Kevin Jones behind him in the number 67. The 20 SS Cody Sumpton is the one that's right in front of you, the green nose and black body. $11.21 lined up in the order. Brian Silvius, and also see the number 37 of Jonathan Patton.
These Fords are right straight in the nose. They're still straight. Be interesting to see how they hold up.
You're saying a lot of the Fords are still straight in the nose?
Yeah, there's quite a few of them that are still straight in the nose, whether the back's packed in or just folded funny, but the noses are still pretty straight on them. Be interesting to see how they do with the old iron.
Right. I mean, they're probably going to hold their own, wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
Everything's already been softened up a little.
Yeah. I like this track, though.
Here's Sean Gokenauer's car in the pits. He just fired it up, a 302.
He said he just put that motor together. It's just a stock motor.
Every motor he has was just put together.
Yeah, it's true.
So many challenges with the that he's been through with the issues related to alcohol. I mean, they've got connecting rods on the shelf that are just mashed right in half because of the compression problems that they run into. Missed time and just bent it right over. Too much alcohol in there and it wouldn't compress.
Yep.
Just mangled the.
It's definitely a learning experience, I would say, with that. But I see the benefits of it. I mean,
It's
when
like
you
going
see
to college. You got to pay a lot of money
Yeah.
to learn a lot.
Sometimes you pay a lot of money and don't learn a thing, too.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah.
Just waiting for these guys to bring them out. We talked a little bit about Hartford Fair. Guy Raymond winning the compacts. Donnie Hartzell winning the stock division over Brett Relier. And David Daub getting heavy hitter, third place effort for him. Guy Raymond over Sheldon Whitman. And then we talked about the second generation sweep of the top three for Sherman, Smith, and Gully winning those events. It was pretty neat.
Kind of curious to see how some of the other area fair shows do with that have limited weld shows and stuff now that Hartford did away with theirs and went more into a stock show.
Well, their stock turnout was pretty strong. I mean,
Yeah.
they were supposed to have that team show. One of the cars, they shut their motor down that day to load it, parked it, got the trailer set, went over, and it wouldn't even turn over. So motor locked up on that one. So that ultimately they were down to, now they're short multiple cars for the team event, so they canceled that and put some money back into the purse. And those cars ended up that were there for the team show ran in just the open stock division, and it worked out pretty well. What do you want to bet tomorrow? There's a concrete block right there.
I'm actually surprised with the equipment they have. They aren't putting something there, but it's the first time with this track, so it's.
They've always had this opening. There used to be one at both ends when it was up on the cinder track.
Yep.
It was at both ends, and people would shove one another out of bounds. It would get pretty exciting. So I wonder why these guys keep pointing at us. Look at the stands. I mean, there are so many people here. Packed.
Is it usually full?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just
Look at all the people that decided to sit down trackside instead of being up in the wing stands. But I mean, still, it's full.
I think about it locally around me. There's most of the fairs have moved their tracks away from Brookfield, Morris. Walton's one of the only few around that still has the grandstands right on the track, but they've gone to the precautions. It's raised and they've got the netting down.
They couldn't
can't really
change
do
if they wanted to without tearing down grandstands.
Exactly.
There's the whistle calling them out. Ready to start bringing them out.
Game time.
First one out, the number 6, Ronnie Hinkle. Behind him, that is Cody Sumpton in the 20 SS. Number 67, that is Kevin Jones. The 1121, here he comes, Brian Silvius. Nose all put back together, sort of, on the number 40 of Johnny Patton. Cleared the wheels a little bit better. Number 37 of Jonathan Patton. Seven cars scheduled to start, 7 cars on the track. Sean Gokenauer, last one to enter the fray. Here we go. They're already moving, and you can already see that the pace for the features picked up a little bit just in how they're circling.
As It's going to be good, I think.
This should be pretty exciting. Ready to turn them loose for tonight's main event. Free for all to follow this. Green flag is out. Gokenauer's got to get some heat in that motor or it's going to continue to stumble like that. Trying to pick his shot. Didn't have anything he liked. Got the back end of the 302. Nova buckling bad at the firewall right now following that shot on Something's number 20 SS. Hinkle backing it up. There goes the number 6. A lot of track to work with. Almost missed and then got the front steering wheel. Goes up, Todd. Goes up. Big shot by Gokenauer. Now coming in on top is the Flat Rock 121 on Something. Hinkle now, next one in line. Broke the stick right off the side of the car. Well, they got done. They were done with something. 3 in a row. Back end way up in the air of the number 1121 for Brian Sylvius. Sean Gokenauer got a lot of power under the hood. Here comes Johnny Patton, goes right nose to nose and buckled the right front rail of the Cougar of Johnny Patton. Hinkle now, nose starting to go bad. The tires shoving up into the fender wells of the number 6, Full Track. He grabs a head full of steam, goes right after the Nova of Jones, misses him, hits Full Track effort on the number 37 of Jonathan Patton. Patton able to get it refired at the top of the track. And the number 37 coming down here is the 1121. Look at how bad that thing's been over at the arches. Really pushing over hard is the 1121 of Sylvius. Jonathan Patton, left front has collapsed now on it. Fender tucked way up inside as we see Hinkle backing way up on the back of the Cougar, driven by Johnny Patton. Still green flag conditions. No stoppages despite the sparks flying from under the hood of Hinkle's number 6. Right rear corner completely flattened on the Nova. Dogfight now as the 6 of Hinkle goes nose to nose with a 302 of Gokenauer.
Lincoln's coming down to play.
Gokenauer takes a bad lick on that left rear corner. The bumper's starting to dump off now. Spins out of the shot, trying to stay away from the 37 of Jonathan Patton. He almost had the shot. Instead, they go nose to nose. The 37 and the 6 of Hinkle. So Sands running thin for the number 67 of Jones and the 1121 of Sylvius. After the nose-to-nose shot, the number 6 sitting idle. And I tell you what, Gokenauer trying to refire. He's got some problems. He's got it fired. Now he's got to get it to move. Gets it in drive. Patton looked like he might have had the thing under wraps, but Gokenauer able to refire. Now trying to steer out of the shot on the wall. Is not running very well for him at all right now. Trying to get it in gear. Look at how far up the nose has come on the 37 of Jonathan Patton. Gokenauer now makes a qualifying hit. It looks like it wants to stall out on him again, but he's able to keep it running. Backs up into the 6. The 6 looks like he's all done. We're down to our last two, the 37 of Patton and the 302, who's getting real hot now, of Sean Gokenauer. Locked nose to nose. Gokenauer throws it in reverse. A lot of wheel spin, plenty of power. Johnny Patton still looks like he's running better than Gokenauer. Went for an axle shot, didn't make the contact, just skated down the side. Looks like the entire rail now broken off the left side of the 302 for Gokenauer, dragging the bumper. If you look now, you can see it. When he goes backwards, it looks like the whole shock is broken from the frame. Jonathan Patton nose way up in the air. He's able to grab the reverse gear one more time. Still pulls right into a shot. The back bumper dragging it across the right front corner. Unable to steer is Gokenauer because of the way the frame is broken on the left front side. So Patton drives into harm's way. The shot delivered instead of himself now by Gokenauer on the axle and laboring mightily, trying to get himself into an offensive position. Tell you what's offensive, the front of that. Man, look how much it's folded over. Gokenauer again, qualifying contact, has to get it in drive. The front wheels are still responding when Patton is steering it. Conversely, however, the number 3002 of Gokenauer seriously disabled by that bumper as it hangs down in the dirt. It's continuing to go after in aggressive fashion, working the left front corner of the Patton entry. Unofficially in third place is going to be the number 6 of Hinkle, then Silvius Jones, Johnny Patton, and Sumpton. Your order in the feature, waiting to crown our champion here on night number 1 of 2 at the Shenandoah County Fair in Woodstock, Virginia. Gokenauer now seems to have a little bit of an upper hand as Patton, they're watching him on the shot clock. He's working. White steam coming from the stacks. Nothing black yet. Doesn't seem like it wants to refire. Gokenauer, a lot of steam pouring from under the hood, coming from the front end where the radiator once was. Gokenauer content to wait it out, watching what Patton does inside the cockpit, begging the thing to fire for him one more time. Again, nothing coming from the stacks of the number 37. Steam only from under the hood of the number 302. Motor real hot, as you just heard Ryan say. The nose stood up very far on it, especially the right side going much faster than the left side did. Checkered flag will fly over Sean Gokenauer. Good win for Sean in the number 302.
Well, it was definitely anybody's game out there with that, with the cars that were out there, the drivers.
About 5 more minutes, we'll get the free-for-all cars out here. So coming trackside, information was that Brian Sylvia is recognized as the most aggressive driver in tonight's feature. Again, we've got the free-for-all coming up here to cap tonight's action, so there will be one more event on track after all. 9:30 here local time. I'm not sure what time it is out in balmy United Kingdom. I know most of the folks watching us now are on the East Coast. And if you ever got the chance to get down here, you got to check it out. The barbecue on the Midway is awesome. I mean, there's like 3 or 4
can't wait
different
to get over there.
smokehouses. You got to check out the Midway. So what do you think of the action on track so far?
Oh, it's a good show. Good hard hitting. There's nobody's bagging, nobody's nothing. Everybody's running good, and
Boy, look at that. There's a good look at how the doors have buckled in as we see Sylvia's. That's the Mad Dog car. Look how far that's come over center on the arches.
oh yeah.
I mean,
The one that was put against the wall here, he took some hard shots against the wall.
flattened the car from the sides. Flattened it. Here's the front of Johnny Patton's car coming off the track, being escorted off. There's a good look at the nose of that thing. Ski-jawed, I believe, is how you would call that.
It's something.
Broken.
It's ugly.
Yeah, been a little funny. You can see that there's at least one bend in the frame ahead of the A-arms. Look how far it shifted to the left. Man.
Bent hard at the firewall. Typical.
It bent hard everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at how the hood's wrapped up around the stacks right there. Man.
When that car came out of the heat, it was bent a little crooked in the front, so it's only
Matter of time, right?
Yep.
Back impact decent for a stock car.
definitely.
There's the nose of Ronnie Hinkle's car. That one started to go in the heat. It doesn't look like it moved a whole lot in the feature, but if you look at the placement of the tires, it shortened somewhere because the tires are just about back to the edge of the fender. Back end still has some life left in it too.
I guess would be the crush box to start pushing in a little bit.
Gokenauer, they've band-aided up the bumper on the left side where it fell off, and it took the shock right with it. And you'll get a good look at that. He's on his way back to the pit area.
His welder probably doesn't know what to do with all the spare time it has building this car.
Yeah. He's got a lot of welders, too. It's hard to keep them all happy, I would guess. Did it take a section of the frame rail with it, or is that just the shock? Looks like it took like part of a Y with it.
Yeah, part of the bracket.
I like how the back was starting to pack in. And the quarter panel's punched in nice, and the bumper's rolling pretty well.
Put that bumper back on. That thing's definitely good for another show or two.
Put the bumper back on and don't stop welding there.
Yeah.
Every seam. Pack it full of weld.
I think the Bondo even stayed on for
Yeah,
you.
it did too. There's Sean right there.
Yep. Get him up here.
See what he wants to do. Doesn't look like he's coming back out for the free-for-all.
No.
Kaufman Town Militia. I didn't notice that when they were teeing off on Cody. It moved at least 5 of those blocks.
Oh yeah, that was some hard shots.
Both
You can
layers.
Look at it.
It's waved out a little.
Little.
So we got E2 sliders, Catskill Fabrication and Performance, Stern Dirt Racing, Ultimate Derby, Smash It, Demolition Derbies, and of course all the shows that we talk about in the studio. Hog Wild Fall Brawl coming up on October the 8th, San Filippo Smash on October the 9th. Trying to remember every one of them now. Lake Erie Rumble on the 17th of September, coming up right around the corner. That one is October the 1st. You can take your pick. Halloween Havoc out at the Golden Spike Arena, Ogden, Utah, or indoors Battleground Ultimate Derby in Louisville, Kentucky. Lots of options coming up in the coming weeks, and then we're right back here again at the end of October for the Cast in Valley 3.
Yep. I'll be out to the Wicked Team show that weekend. And then
That's Brian Silvius right there in the green shirt and the black hat. Asking to see how much time he's got left to put his car together. None. We're about wrapped up. Johnny Patton, looks like he's coming back. In the number 40, there's the whistle, calling him to the line. Little car number 100, we saw that car earlier. That was the Dalton Dillman car. Delivered one crazy shot on the 916's car, Josh Eaton, against the wall, and that was that. He never moved again. Neither did Eaton, for that matter. So looking to see him out here again in a moment. And Johnny Patton trying to get the number 40 refired. It's not working out for him quite the way he wanted. The cars are being called to the line. And Monte Carlo looks like he's going to come back out. Brian Davis in the number 16 due to appear. There he is. That's the 50 by 2 Sioux Stu Doval's car, but I believe driving it is, I think his name is Kirkendall. Not 100% certain on that, but looks like we're about ready to turn them loose. In just a few moments, we'll get them going. 9:45 here local time, just about ready to put a fork in this evening's action. We'll be back here again at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, ready to go for for event number 2 here at the Shenandoah County Fair. They're up and on their feet, moving, running around in a circle. The Monte Carlo leading the way of Davis, then Dillman in the 100, and the number 50 by 2 is what I believe the Kuykendall car. Went right for the axle in the number 50 by 2, and he may have knocked the CV out of the left side of that shot. Had the wheels turned when he hit the axle, and that might do it for him. Going full track on the big car is the number 100 of Dillman. Dillman staying on the whip, just thrashing the car around. Far more mobile than the number 16 of Davis. Parks on the door, tries to get him to spin, does so. Backs it up. Good shot on that right rear corner, rather. And the 16 stalled. And now the 100 delivers a shot on the 5x2 just for good measure. 16 being told to hit. He's driving away from him again. And the number 100 might have just burned up his transmission or lost drive, one or the other. Nope, got it in gear. Got her wound up. Could be that was the 550 by 2 car far into the track as well.
There we go. It's going to be a good shot.
100 turns it up again. Nice T-bone shot. Goes right after that drive wheel again. Good lick. The little car putting on a hit clinic. Driving around that Monte Carlo. Nice piece of driving again. Goes for the drive wheel. And now the 100 of Dalton Dillman. Spitting steam all over the place. Right rear corner starting to fall apart now for him now, as he finally takes an aggressive shot from the number 16 of Davis. Ryan Davis, no front bumper on it. Kind of getting bullied around a little bit is the number 16. Front end is starting to bend a little bit, holding together right for him. Quick flash of fire. He might have a fire under the hood. It looks like some raw fuel's come out. Good lick right there by that number 100. It's knocked the fire out, that's for sure. Number 100 of Dillman drives away again. Crosshairs are trained so squarely on the back of that number 16. Does it again. Big lick. Holy cow. Knocks the bumper free on the number 100 of Dillman. The back end bending a little bit sideways, going crooked on the number 16 of Davis. Davis trying to back it up. Long walk back to him. Makes consequential contact, but it's not nearly as hard as the number 100 was hitting him a moment ago. Dillman trying to keep the power going, trying to shove him up to the wall. Laying on the steer tire. Engine has stalled now for the number 16. He's able to refire it. Dillman now sitting idle in the number 100. Last aggressive hit was made by the number 16. You just saw it. Stick broken down. That's going to do it. Number 100 of Dalton Dillman takes the stick down. He looks like he's all done. Man, he was going after it.
Yeah, he was sending some shots with that car.
Well, Chad Kingry came up and hung out with us for a little while. We talked to Corey Rader a little bit. Corey Rader, impressive driver down here. Been 5 years since he got in the car. Corey cannot hear.
I see
He cannot hear, and I tell you what, he has done an awesome job driving derby cars. Great builder, and he did a nice job hanging out here with us. He was able to
excellent. Yeah, can't wait to talk to him later.
Oh, we will. We'll see a lot of him. He'll tell you some war stories too.
I'm sure.
He knows the history of this place like it's encyclopedic. It's awesome. So hung out with Chad a little bit. We were going to talk with Justin Smith about Page Valley, Page Valley. It was Friday. We're out of time. We're all done here. So we're going to be back here again tomorrow. Again, quick mention of all of our sponsors: Catskill Fabrication and Performance, E2 Demolition Sliders. Blanking already. It's too early to do that. Smash It Demolition Derby, Stir and Dirt Racing, Ultimate Derby, Hog Wild Fall Brawl on the 8th, San Filippo Smash on the 9th of October. Blizzard Bash, Ultimate Derby. We'll be telling you more about those guys tomorrow when we're back here live starting at 7 o'clock. That is going to do it for us trackside. So glad that everything ultimately worked out for us here trackside to bring you this event, presented also by JPG Towing, Most Wanted Fine Art. That's going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course Live. Again, we'll be back here again tomorrow bringing you the modified portion. Before we get out of here, Ryan, any thoughts?
That was an awesome show. Can't wait to see tomorrow with the hard cars tomorrow. It's going to be a good time.
Hard cars
Thanks
tomorrow.
for having me down here.
You bet, man. We'll catch up with Ryan more tomorrow. Todd, great job on the camera. We'll see everybody again tomorrow night right here, 7 o'clock.
See ya.